Max, I can't see you.
Yeah, that's unfortunately the case. Still not back home. So no photo evidence of me, but you can see my avatar and hear my beautiful voice.
Oh, really? If that wasn't arrogant, I don't know how arrogant that could have been. Barry said he's not going to make it to the world, so you're safe to come. There now.
What? Why isn't he coming? He's like Fenn's personal mechanic. Who's gonna pit for
He
Fenn?
can't. He has. I think he can't get real time off, like real job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
and the
yeah, he
world
has
is
to go.
actually. Should I might not be going now. We don't know. I gotta see. I gotta find some budget. But anyway, you know what? We're actually gonna. This is like a reaction video, but it's like a full pod. I think we're gonna go geek right out on this podcast, so we can't spend too much time farting around. So let's get right into the nitty gritty of things. Let's drop that intro and get talking about RC. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do that.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this money grabbing book racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? It's episode number 199 or 108 from the big 200, which we'll be doing this weekend. We're going to be doing a live show this weekend. Sorry, this Thursday, actually, at 4 p.m., celebrating our 200th episode. And it's sponsored by TZO because I think like it's the grand opening. So, yeah, episode 199, Max. How you doing? By the way, my name is Keenan White, aka Lefty, and to my virtual right is the avatar of the arrogant one named Max. You're still in like your associated hoodie in that one, Max. I don't know if that's Mayako rules now.
Yeah, that actually might be associated with it, but the associated doesn't show there, so we're good.
I can see. I know it's an associated hoodie. No, what's up, Max? You're still kind of like on summer vacation. That's why you're not at home. You're off somewhere in Finland. And you couldn't get your camera working. So thank you for showing up, though. I'm glad you was here. We was talking about divisions race all weekend. That's going to be what we're going to talk about a lot this week. This episode as well. But we gotta do some things before that. So before we go on, I just want to say thank you to everybody that supported us for these 199 episodes. To be honest, we couldn't do it without you guys. So thank you for all the support from the NNRC squad around the world. Also to the patrons of the NNRC, thank you guys for all the support. Some guys have been here from the inception of the Patreon program. So I thank you for that. Honestly, without you guys' support, I couldn't do a lot of things. So thank you for that as well. Also, thank you to the awesome sponsors that we have. Remember, everybody, we have links, we have some affiliate links, we have some coupon codes. All of that can be found in the written description of this podcast. You can save some money. If there is no coupon code and you buy something from them, please just say that you heard about that on the NNRC. And those sponsors are Invisible Speed, TZO 200 Tires, High Tech RCD, TNR Fuels, Mayako, Beach RC, Tekno RC, Lugs Racing Tires, G-Spec RC Tuning, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, Some Pedal USA, Racecraft USA, Clinic RC, RCGP, House of RC, the DR Race Shop, and the JTP RC, Jared Tebow's shop. So thank you to those companies. You guys show them some love. It helps us out a lot as well. Helps us out a lot. Before we go any further, I have some race announcements you have to go through. I try to do this every week. So we have RC3 Racing in Huntsville. They invite you out to join them on August 6th and 7th. That's coming up very soon for the 13th annual Rocket City Challenge presented by Futaba, averaging over 200 entries annually. This Rocket City Challenge is one of the South's premier off-road outdoor races. With a 2-day race format, you are able to enjoy a laid-back racing atmosphere while battling out with some of the fastest racers on the East Coast. This race also features fun events like a buddy race and a pit stop challenge on Saturday night to give the racers a fun way to wind down for the long days of qualifying. With a grand prize giveaway like a Futaba 10PX and an HBE 819 RS, this is one event you won't want to miss. Check us out on Facebook at RC3 Racing for more information, or visit us online at www.rcracing.com. Also, Peach State Classic, that's coming up the week after the Worlds in September. Indoor race, outdoor siding, so it's like under a roof, but it has open sides. That's coming up. Wicked Weekend is coming up as well soon. I think this month. I don't know the date, but similar race. This is one of the races I've always wanted to go to. Wicked Weekend is going to be an interesting race to watch. We're going to talk about that in a minute later on. We have the 10 scale Nats coming from San Diego RC as well. I'll be watching that. That's Born a Crime's home track. So let's see if he can do well there. And we still have a plethora of Euros left to come up over the next weekend. I believe, there's a lot of Euros to come. There's the IC 10 scale Nitro Euros this weekend it is the 5th scale off-road weekends this weekend from Fairing, and then following week it's the 10 scale Nitro touring car Euros from Italy, and then we have the 8 scale ones. So it's a lot of racing going on, Max. There's a lot of racing going on at the moment, man. It's really interesting. It's been like 2 months of pure racing euphoria.
Yeah, and especially in Europe, like if Roar on-road maps are on, like almost nobody like really follows them that deeply. But in Europe, like when RC Racing TV is there, you get large scale, you get 10 scale on road, you get 8 scale on road, you get all of the classes, and then they ride after one another. So there's so much racing going on throughout the years.
Yeah, it's been a lot of good racing. It's great to see the racing back in Europe. And it has, I think, from RCGP Italy, actually, I would say from World's warm-up or even Euros warm-up, because it was, it's been pretty good. But then we had the final in Italy, which was great. And that set up for her recent race at the Euros. And yeah, it's been some good racing. We had some great racing this past weekend, her at the Visions race, which we're going to talk about. I just wanted to shout out to a few people before we went on any further. Shout out to Matt and Frank from Control. That one like a 36-day tour. So a lot of people don't understand that RC Racing TV is a very small operation. Sometimes they only have 3 guys at these events, and they travel with all their stuff in suitcases. So Matt and Frank are doing the camera work and announcing for a lot of these races that they're going to, and then Nick's going to join them. And some, because these guys, like Nick, has a real job, whereas Matt and Frank, this is their job, I believe. So I'm following their vlog. Yeah, I'm following their vlog, which they're doing a vlog every day, which is pretty cool. And those guys work hard, so it's good to see them doing all. It's good to just see I was a part of the large scale Euros this weekend. You know what I mean? And I enjoyed that. And I love that scale. Wow, I want to do that one day. I need the money though. That's an expensive class.
That's not a third world. That's not a third world.
Believe it or not, though, it's a class her. They race at her.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, That's like fifth scale is the one of the classes where you just take the car and you look at it and you're like, what the fuck? This is crazy.
Hey, but it's so many rules. I mean, they have smaller tanks. It's like these cars struggle to do 30 minutes,
Yeah, yeah.
and they it was a lot of fuel attrition. Um, like the guy Feldman, who was like the favorite, like the TQ guy was out early after a little crash with Feldman, and Feldman fell back. And then who actually won was an Italian guy from it was his home track. So he won at his home track.
What was his name?
I do not know. He's not like I don't think he's like a big name guy, but
Okay.
I'm
Because
sorry,
I
I don't know
saw,
I don't remember his name.
yeah, because I saw a few like fast 10 scale, like 10 scale and 8 scale on road guys there racing.
Maybe he does that. Beautiful track. These tracks are so beautiful, man. I think that's what I really enjoy about the European tracks. Because they're permanent, they are allowed to look so nice. You know what I mean? And you can see the
Yeah,
history
yeah,
in them.
yeah, and also like a lot of sort of tracks like this, they take a lot of what would you call it? I guess sort of inspiration from like
From
full
real
scale.
tracks. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this track was like I believe very close to uh,
Ferrari.
Ferrari and Fiorano, their
So
track.
you know what was really interesting was that these guys were actually putting their cars on the curbing so they could turn better. They said if you
Yeah,
couldn't
and
get your front wheels on the curbing, your car wouldn't turn.
yeah, and also I watched some of the live. There was a lot of track cutting, and then there was like this huge scandal where,
Yeah,
as soon as qualifying was supposed to start, they put like huge dots on the curbs so you couldn't run over them. But then the curbs wasn't fixed well enough to the ground, so they moved between runs. And then so
really.
then
I missed
yeah
all of
then
that.
yeah then they just gave up and said like, okay, now you can cut the track again.
Yeah, dude, like some of those things. But what it is, that track actually has AstroTurf on the inside of it too.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't
There was
realize that.
like, yeah,
Some
there was a
parts, like
lot
it's a
of,
thin line of AstroTurf.
yeah. So there was sort of that line that was way off track, but you could still run over it because it wasn't like dirt. It was like there
Yeah,
was some parts were concrete, some parts were, I guess, astroturf, and so people were cutting it kind of crazy.
I really like this class. They have so many rules. Like if you make an engine change, you get a penalty and all that type of stuff. And they make these rules to keep it cheap. But fuck, it's
Yeah,
like expensive. Like
yeah, yeah. There's no way to make that thing cheap.
I want to do it one day. It was fun to be a part of. Um, Also, I was watching Katie Carmendi of Race Like a Girl. She did a vlog from Overcash Raceway. Dude, there's some nice little tracks right there in the Carolina, like in North Carolina.
Yeah,
Not too far out of Charlotte.
North Carolina is one of the best places to run RC in like East Coast, I think, because it's not hot and rainy like South Carolina. But then again, it's like you have a lot of tracks still.
Yeah, this track is like it's this one and another one called Red Brush that's kind of new. And I would say I wouldn't know if the backyard like way bigger than a backyard track, but I assume that's somebody's property. And they look pretty nice, and they're getting some good traction there. They got people racing. So I watched her vlog. She did a really good job. She's very good with her stuff. Check out Race Like a Girl and check out her YouTube channel and check it out. She does good work. She does good work. Very nice. I need to get Katie on her. She's very nice. Very good. She's fast too. Very good racer. JQ released 2 great videos too, by the way, this week. I thought they were really inspirational. One told his story, and the second one talked about which class you should race. So go check them out. They were actually really good. I commend JQ, and he's actually going to be busy this week too. I was trying to get him on his podcast, but he's doing all the recaps for the Invisible Speed course for the people who signed up last week and got 20% off. So if you didn't sign up last week, you missed out on that 20%. Max, you know what? We have some news to talk about real quick, and that is brought to you by High Tech RCD. High Tech RCD is a lead in RC systems, delivering the highest performance and reliability, supported by a dedicated customer service personnel. The HSBC 931TH servers have efficient brushless motors, titanium gears, low consumption, constant output, and a metal case. High-Tech also would like to introduce their new 10-scale on- and off-road servers, the DB778WPs, manufactured with the high technology industrial servo innovation from their industrial servo side. Also, don't forget about the RDX2 Pro charger, which I have and which I really enjoy. It can charge up to 2 batteries at a time, and also it has a USB port that you can use for your heating purposes, head heating purposes, or charging your phones. And it has a Bluetooth dongle, so you can connect it right to your phone and monitor your batteries while they charge. Trust in High-Tech, your server and charger headquarters. Visit hightechrcd.com/where to buy for your nearest retailer. Also, the news is brought to you by TNR Fuels. Here at the NNRC, we're all about the glory, and that glory is Nitro. TNR Fuels is the hottest fuel on the market, owned and operated by Chris Nelson and his family, made by racers for racers. You can get TNR Fuel throughout the USA, and he is now shipping internationally. For more information about the fuel or to get it in your local hobby shop, you can contact them at www.tnrfuels.com or hit up Chris directly at chris@tnrfuels.com via email, or find them on House of RC or Facebook and shoot him a message. I'm sure he'll get back to you. Thank you to High-Tech for their continued support, and thank you to TNR for their support. They bring you this week's High-Tech TNR High-Tech RC news. So, first off the bat, I forgot to talk about this last week, but Tyler Hooks has left Tekno. He has now not the manager for Tekken. He's still on the team, and he's moving. And this week was at the Visions race, driving a Mugen car and helping Ryan Mayfield, I believe. At some point, but he was in the invite too. So did you see that, Mal? The rumor is that he's going to work at JC full time and is moving to Florida. I don't know if that's true, but it seems like the most viable option at this point, because I can't see Mugen having a full-scale job for him that he has to move to California to do it, maybe. So
yeah, I don't, and they like I don't really I don't really see what he would do at me really, but I see a lot of things he would do at J Concepts.
Well, I don't know what he's gonna do at J Concepts. I'm thinking if he's moving, maybe he's gonna slip into that role that Tran was doing.
Yeah, I think so.
I think like a team manager, gonna be at races. Not maybe a team manager. I mean, he still does social media to help out there. I believe if that's his destination, that's his future. I wish him all the best with that. It's not easy to make money in RC, so you have to be very eclectic and try to get in as much as you can. So we'll see. Maybe he's doing something with Mugen as well. Who knows? Because I mean, to drop, I don't fully understand what his job was at Tekno too, to be honest. So I don't know. Maybe he was like a team manager, or maybe social media guy.
Is he still working for Live RC?
Yeah, he was doing the posts and write-ups at the end of the day for the Visions race.
So maybe he just goes full-time Live RC.
Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. I wish him all the best. I mean, he works hard. I know a lot of people may not like him, or he's an acquired taste, but he definitely works hard at being in the industry, and he's been doing it for a long time. So I wish him all the best or whatever he's gonna do. So we shall see. ENATs. So we had the ENATs this past weekend, Max, and actually, they actually had a great turnout. Well, better than last year, I would say. So
better than Visions, or
yes, better than Visions too. Better than Visions turnout. Not pro wise though. Visions had more pros.
Yeah.
But they had 83 drivers and 146 entries. So still a decent. Now, also people have to understand there's also another big race going on in New York, in this area, in this northeast area, up in New York at the barn. They had the Big Apple race, which Drake went to, which they have every year. at Rohan's race, and that actually got good attendance too. Got 100 drivers. I can't remember how many entries, but all of TLR went to this race. So we like, I know. Look, I don't want to say it. Maybe you'll say it, but it like we knew like Fend was gonna win this. I mean, so Fend went, Cavallari went,
I'm
Bornhorst
surprised.
went.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised that Cav won E-Truggy. Like, how the fuck did Fend win Truggy?
I don't know. He didn't do well at all. But hey, Cavallari won E-Truggy, so he can add that to. He's got another national title. Bornhorst went. Tyler Jones went. Mark Souza made the trip down from X-Ray for X-Ray. Cole Tollard was there. See Cole effing Tollard. Tater Sontag. Julian Oliveira, a fast associated guy, and Joey Bordone was there, and Lee Setzer and Gavin Gibber. I don't really know who Gavin is, but I mean, so Fend is now your 2022 national e-buggy champion and your
Nitro buggy.
yes,
right?
and they have the e-truggy championship as well. So now that all goes on the box art of the new car. Yay!
Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's the reason why they went. They wanted to say like our new platform on everything.
I
That's
truly
the
believe
only
so.
reason I think
They will say no. They will say that they not look, and this is not. I'm not deterring from the Nats at all. So let's get that straight. Like, I am a big supporter of the Nationals. I think they should happen. This race just happened to be on a. Let's put up some footage because the track was really good. By the way,
yeah, track looked amazing.
this
So
track.
I mean,
was
the race
good.
itself was like super nicely organized. It looked like from the video and looked like hard class and I mean, Fend was still there, so there's good drivers. But I mean,
Yeah.
the timing was just so unfortunate. I would have liked to see like proper E-Nats because like the e-bug years were quite good, and that's always
Yeah,
quite a nice race.
I think this would have been a great place. It was so much debate about this leading up to. I mean, look at this track. This is at G's in Pennsylvania. The track was great. Look, I really love this track. If this track could have been at Divisions race, it would have been really good. You know, not saying I didn't like the track at Division race, but they didn't have this type of terrain as well. They sugared this race track apparently as well.
Yeah, but apparently it rained because
Yeah, this
it
is
looks
Sunday
like
mains.
they have. Yeah, it rained after qualifiers. Then I think because Jones was like fastest in practice. He was like on his own second. Like everyone else was like he was dominating practice, but I don't know where he went because I mean yes, yeah, he's second here, so I guess he's doing all right. But
This
yeah, I
is
don't know.
A2.
Yeah, but Jones looked super fast in practice, but then he just fell off. I guess I don't know. I didn't watch the mains.
Well, this is in e-buggy. He finished third in A1, fourth in A2, and fifth in A3. And then
Yeah,
Bornhorst had a 4, 3, and 2, and then Cavallari had a 2, 2, 1, actually. So it was actually Cav. Well, he came second behind Fen. Fen got it in 2. Oh, there's
yeah.
Bornhorst. Ooh, oh.
Ooh.
I like that. So SRX sent Joe Bornhorst her. I'm surprised Heckert isn't her, to be honest. Why isn't Heckert her? Or maybe he did go or didn't. I don't know. But surprised he didn't go. And they also sent Tanner Denny and Camden Lime to Visions race. And also Tekno had Wiggins and Tebow and Van Dalen at the Visions race, and they had Jones her. And actually had Souza and Ciccarello, because this is near him as well, even though he didn't make the mains in this one. And they had Ty at the other race, and then they had Cole Tollard. So there was a fair amount of, but TLR didn't, like TLR could have sent Cavallari to Divisions race. Like, really?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't split it so it would be half and half. So which one would make more sense?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. They want to win this too. Oh, there's Mini Truggy. Oh, and like,
but I guess it would have been weird if it was like the full TLR team was here and then just Cav at the Visions.
Yeah, I guess they had all budgeted for this too. So I'm not gonna hold it against them. But I thought the track was great. The the race. I'm glad that Live RC got some coverages. So we had a camera, we had a moving camera there, and I thought that it was sufficient. With, I think Dave Duncan was announcing. Uh, if Divisions race wouldn't have been on, I think this race would have been a little bit bigger. I think this would have been a big ENETs. So I feel sorry on that turn. And the reason that they didn't want to move the ENETs is because they didn't want to conflict with other local racers. So it was a hard decision for Raw. I don't really hold them against this too much, but it is what it is. And congratulations. The junior class was actually very nice to see. They had a strong junior class. So Dakota Fenn, Ryan Cavallari, and Joe Bourne also your top three in the in E-Buggy. Where's E-Truggy? Let's look at E-Truggy. Was Cavallari, Jones, and Bornhorse. Souza, Cole Tollard, Taylor Sontag. Wow, Fenn was right on in ninth. He had a second, 11, and 11.
Yeah, it looked like he was lost in the main. We were just watching, so I guess he just had some massive issues in training.
Let's see. I think Fenn won. Oh yeah, Fenn is like 12-time short course truck champion now or something like that.
I think he has won every time he's went. Like
At
I think
least-
he's went every year, and he's like won it every time.
Well, at least Cavallari and Taylor Sontag, Aaron Kaufman were there.
Yeah, but I mean, he's the king of full drive short course truck.
Yes. That's and then they had a good junior final, and I was still this kid Harriet Hallbaker. He's pretty good. Aiden Manchanda, I met him and his dad at the Nats last year. Eli Miller. It's good to see a full this is. I'm glad that they have this. These young guys got a little chance to put on a show, and it's good. I was watching. I saw the pictures. They were all happy to be there too, man. It was good. I think the people that went to the ENETs enjoyed it. I saw some race reports. People were happy. That's good to see. That's great to see. Still, it was still a successful. Maybe not as many entrants as they wanted, but it was still not a complete and total loss, in my opinion. So, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. And congratulations to G and the track crew there, because they built a great track, in my opinion. The other big race was the Big Apple race. Drake went to this. He goes every year. This is at Barnstormers. This is the other big Northeast race. I think even like Cole Ogden used to go to this race. I think JQ was trying to go to this race. I think even Savoya might have went to this race at some point. But it's one of the bigger Northeast races held at Barnstormers. Drake goes every year. He won. Jamie Grayek is like a Northeast legend. He came second. Brian Carter, him and his brother, Brian's the racer. They race full scale sprint cars. Third. And just some fast Northeast guys there that I recognize their names in there. So that's good to see. There was a lot of racing, dude. And there was the on-road, speaking of the on-road Raw Walmart Nationals in Puerto Rico, because Danny was doing that, and I was watching some coverage from there. So I was watching a lot of racing this weekend. A lot of fucking racing. My eyes.
Puerto Rican Nationals or Raw Nationals?
No, it's a Raw because Puerto Rico is part of America.
Yeah,
so
I know it is part of America, but I don't think Raw would bring nationals there.
Yeah, they're having the nationals there.
What nationals was it? 10 scale on road?
Like, no, it's 1/8 on road, and I think
but only
I think it's 1/8 on
Nitro.
road, like GT and it might be everything, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't know if they hold it together or if they hold it separately. But that's good. I mean, I like that.
Well, there's a lot of on-road racing in Puerto Rico.
Oh, for sure.
GT racing is really popular there.
Yeah.
One of the fast guys is this Dominican guy, actually, too. So
I remember, I think, like, I don't know if it was the Raw Nats last year or the Worlds a few years before, but I remember seeing Puerto Ricans up there.
Yeah. Well, no, Jose Almonte is Dominican. Don't get confused. I got confused now. That's going to start a cultural war right there. I think that's about it for RC News, Max. Everybody was talking about divisions race, which we're going to talk about. But we have some questions because we haven't had you on to do questions for quite some time. So we have quite a few questions.
We have questions to Discord too. Like
we do?
They've been just sitting. Yeah, they've been just sitting there for some. Like this one guy CD Buckland has asked this question like 3 times, and every time we forgot to answer it.
Well, do you have it?
Yeah, but I mean,
Okay,
this
so we'll
is
ask.
quite a complicated one. But I guess I can ask myself.
All right.
So
All right.
this is like super science,
Oh
but
my
I
gosh!
mean,
I
let's
know I'm
do
gonna.
let's do it now, so Chad will finally get his answer.
All right, we'll
I
do
think
Chad's answer. We'll do it first, but first we have to, do our intro, dude.
yeah, let's do that.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
Yes, and thank you to Brent at Beach RC. I still have the Lucas interview that I have to post up. I'm going to save that for another podcast because I know we're going to geek out on the Visions podcast this week. But we have an affiliate link for Beach RC if you guys can use that greatly. It helps us out a little bit. We got a little slice of that. And check out Beach RC, man. They're doing a lot of good things in RC. And we thank you guys for all your questions. So first, we're going to answer Chad's question because he's asked it for quite a long time. Then we'll move on to some of our other questions that we have. So go ahead, Max.
Okay, finally the answer to this question, but be prepared. It's quite a extra science. So, can you explain cross weights as it pertains to off-road vehicles, specifically the effect on a car as it hits a jump phase and then when airborne? I understand a car that appears unbalanced without shocks can be loaded to balance on scales, but when it's in the air, what happens if one side is significantly heavier than the other? I'm thinking of what happens when you throw a hammer not in a vacuum. Yeah, so basically there is a difference, and there is more difference than just weight balance. There is also inertia differences, and that has effect on roll, the sort of how fast the car rolls, how fast the car sort of switches direction in the air, everything. And I think weight balance overall has been like under optimized in our cars quite bad actually. So my experience with sort of matching cross weights is that it always helps, like matching cross weights with the preload of the springs, like Joseph has done on his sort of write-ups. He measures all 4 corners with scales and balances it with preloads on the springs. So that sort of that makes the car have equal balance left to right on the tires. So the initial feel of the car is slightly better, and you can feel it for sure. I think it does help a bit, but it's not a sort of a do or die situation really. It's something you can do if you want to, but it's not at all necessary. I think most of the time it's not really that necessary, but it can help, and you can most likely feel it if you're a good enough driver, that is, and if your setup is close enough. But the thing about it is, that's not something you should do if there is a significant difference. You can do it to fine tune it the car, but that's pretty much about it. If you have significant weight balance differences in a car, that makes the car handle quite unbalanced. You can feel how the car handles differently with especially in 10 scale. This was really easy to feel because we had these layouts where the engine would be in the front, and when you would brake and turn to the left, the car wouldn't grip roll, and when you would brake and turn to the right, the car would grip roll. So that was because the engine was in the front on that chassis layout, and the brake force of the engine and the engine being so in the front corner, made that corner of the car so heavy that it was so unbalanced, and when the car rolled, it grip rolled much easier on that side. Well, that's, for example, one thing, and that's something I've actually been worried about on these saddle pack cars. I think that might become an issue, but I haven't been able to try one of those cars or do extensive testing to say that for sure. And most likely the lower center of gravity helps with that, so it might be sort of a plus minus zero situation. But on off-road vehicles, the question specifically is about jumping, and yeah, in the air generally, weight balance doesn't matter that much. To be being honest, like the the biggest thing in the air is what type of tires you're running. So if you're running like in 10 scale, especially if you're running carpet tires, you can feel that the tires are much less responsive in the air. So it's much harder to control the car compared to dirt tires. But in 8 scale, the biggest thing by far is body shell and the wing. Uh, I have never really felt that like with the rearward bias, the car will jump differently. The biggest difference is in landing, however. So if the car is very, very unbalanced in terms of like weight bias, that's when you start having issues in landings. Especially if the car is really heavily rear biased, you'll lose the rear. If it's heavily front biased, you have the car pushing a lot, and those are the difference you'll feel. But I think about sort of tuning the preload of the springs and balancing the car like that, you will gain because of the car will handle better when it's on the ground because it's balanced on the ground, and you will most likely have no downsides in jumping or no noticeable downside in jumping that way. That's my point of view and what I've found when I've tested it. And but overall, the best way is to actually balance the car by making it uh, symmetrical left to right and have the corners equally balanced, and not just as weight balance but also as balance of inertia in the chassis. That also is a big deal, and there's a lot more to it than I think anyone has ever really thought about when making an off-road car. In touring cars, people take that into account quite often, but in off-road, I don't think anyone has ever thought about it too much.
That was super science, man. But I got it. I understood. I was
Yeah.
paying attention. I had something that I wanted to ask you, because I know what JQ would have said. I noticed at the Euros that lots of guys, a lot of people are using the beta wing, or is it a copy of the beta wing? I mean, I saw at RCGP Boots was using it and Canas, and it looked like a lot of people were using that at this Euros. What's your thoughts on that?
I think the reason why they use it is because the wing, you can get it so high up. I think the side plates are higher than the wing, or the end plates are much higher than the regular wing. So I think that helps them sort of control the car, but then it lets air flow underside of the wing. So you have sort of less, it allows the rear end most likely to steer more, sort of the rear end flows better, but it still has quite a bit of drag in it because it's so big, like a big scoop basically. So you still have a bit of rear grip. So I think it's a similar thing to having a body without the side wings versus having a body with the side wings. When you slide the car a lot, this type of wing will work better, I think. because the airflow is better from the sides. And when you have a wing with regular end plates, it works the best when you're going straight. But if you're sliding a lot, the airflow doesn't go nicely around the end plates because it's not designed to do that. It's just a straight end plate. So I think that's the reason. When you want to slide the car, when you want to have the rear end really free and have similar grip when you're going straight and when you're sliding, I think that's when that wing is good. But in terms of like doing aero really well, I don't think that's a good solution.
Okay. All right. So I was wondering that. I know if I would have asked Joseph, he would have said it's just placebo. But
For a lot of drivers, it's probably placebo because the thing also is that when you have a wing that's that high up, the car looks like it's turning faster because the wing is high, it moves around more. When you get the car into a slide, you see the wing move, when the rear end lifts, the wing moves higher. So a lot of it is just you can see the car looking more aggressive. So you drive it sort of more on the line, you drive it more carefully, maybe, or you slide it nicer. So a lot of it is probably placebo too. But there is most likely a significant difference in handling too.
okay, cool. So we're gonna get into some of our questions here. We're gonna get into in-depth discussion of the Visions race after this. So if it's really pertaining to the Visions race, we might just wait and hold off until then, because some of them do pertain to that. But I like this one from Benjamin James, and he asks, with his win at Visions, where would you rank Jared Wiggins among RC drivers in America? So if you would have told me that Jared Wiggins was going to win this, I would have been like, shut the fuck up. Like, no way, but I think with the way that they did things, the way the format, which we'll talk about in the review, in the reaction, sorry, is what helped him a lot. But I did watch him run his A2, and he ran a very, very good main. His car looked good. And he made one mistake at the end, the same place where Mayfield framed.
That
Like,
that
oh, no!
mistake, yeah, and it was crazy because he didn't make it over the line when he crashed, and he was like, at the point where he crashed, he could have just lifted off the gas and let the car roll to the line, but he kept it pinned and he caught it. But luckily, I mean, he had like a 6-second lead or something, so no
Yeah.
harm, no foul.
So with that said, like, look, I'm happy for Wiggins that he got this win. This guy works really hard. Oh, did you notice that they used my nickname for him too?
What did
Wizard?
it? The wizard? Yeah, I
Yes,
heard that.
they were saying that. I was so happy about that. It's great for him. He puts in a lot of work. He drives on so many different surfaces and whatnot. This guy works really hard. It's hard to say where it ranks him anywhere right now. Because this race is, the format is so different. So we still have to think back to traditional racing, qualifying and doing a long main and all that type of stuff. But you know what? I will say that Wiggins is definitely, this should give him some confidence going into his next couple of races. He drove well in A2, and he drove, with the 3 main setup, he was able to drive well enough in those mains to secure a victory, which was great.
Yeah,
That's what made it exciting.
Yeah, and like, I don't really know much of him, but I think like he does RC full time, right?
Yeah, that's just his job.
Yeah, so I don't know, does he get paid by Tekno or?
Yeah, I believe, I hope, I think he does. Like, dude, the guy's like gonna go driving today.
Yeah, because I think like he lives with Katie Roxbury and Tyler Hooks. They have like a house together or something. So I think he just drives RC and spends time on RC. So like, I think because I don't think he's like at the level of Jones or Van Dalen or any of these guys. But like, seems like this race for some reason, like he was there from the start. He was top seed on the first round of seeding. He was there in qualifying. He had pretty good start spots all the way through. And in the second main, it wasn't like he got super lucky and won. No, he just took the lead and fucking led the
Yeah.
whole main. He
Yeah.
was controlling. So well, I can't even say he got lucky because he didn't. He didn't really get lucky at all. So yeah, and his car looked okay too. So I think it just might have been that he's like on a track
It was
like
his
this.
day.
He has his setup down. It was his day. He was driving good. So yeah, and I mean, yeah, this track is kind of Texas style too, like big wide jumps and like 90-degree corners. So it might have just been he was feeling it. This was his day, but I'm interested to see if like he like stepped it up over the summer this much, or if this was just like his day. But
Right.
yeah, it'd be great to see him do well because
He's
he's definitely not a guy I'd expect to finish top 5 at any of the big races, even top 5, to be honest.
he can do it, but it has lots of things have to go his way.
Yeah.
But I'm happy for him, dude.
Oh
He won
yeah, me
this.
too, for sure.
He won this. It
And the
was
thing
good.
is, he won it like fair and square. There was not like, oh, he
Yeah.
got lucky. That
Yeah.
wasn't the case. He
He
won
did what
a
it had to
main.
do.
Yeah, he won a main, and he did really well in the first and last main to secure enough points, kept it consistent. So yeah,
Yeah. So
that's all there
imagine
is.
if things were determined, like, if championship was determined with a series. This is how exciting we. Kyle Neary, multi-main events that are total by points, not times, like a qualifier is better. Please, everyone change to this. Yes, I really enjoyed the format. I don't think every race has to be like this, but this is definitely something that can be implemented into club racing and whatnot as well,
I
and various
actually
races.
I actually kind of disagree. I don't like double or triple mains really, because especially if it's like 10 scale where someone can win it in two. So fuck. If you count all three, then if you win the first two and then have a technical in the third because someone takes you out in the start, then you're out again. Yeah,
This
I
is
guess
true.
it's like I guess it's interesting, but I do like the fact that it's one main. You go out there for 45 minutes and that's it. I think there's place for both,
Yes,
but
yes.
I don't think
Every race
one.
should be like this.
Yeah, I don't think one should be the best way. And to me, I think they are good in both, and that's why I think it's great that, for example, RCGP has both. I think that's the right way to do it because there are a place for both styles. And I think triple mains is too much. I think double mains, 20 minutes or 15 minutes. That's, in my opinion, the best if you do more than one main.
But I will say this: what they done with these mains, I enjoyed, and we'll talk about that in our reaction. So, but yeah, I mean, Kyle's got a badass backyard track. I like he can do it at his track. It'd be good as well. Will Smith, what's up, Will? If sponsoring is removed from the hobby and continues to replace it, would this help the hobby to grow with fewer brands that actually innovate versus selling rebranded items?
What? So if
So he wants to get rid of sponsorship and
mm,
replace it with contingency. He says, would this help the hobby to grow with fewer brands that actually innovate versus selling rebranded items?
I don't really know how that would change the brands. That would change the hobbyist for sure, but I don't think it would make a difference for the brands.
I think if you start putting money on the line for everything, people are gonna get too serious. They're already
Oh
serious
yeah,
now. Too
imagine how
serious
many.
now.
Yeah,
I mean, they're too serious now over cardboard trophies
yeah,
and getting that sponsorship.
yeah,
That's my that is the byproduct of.
yeah. I'd be
So
fucking scared to go to a race if that was the case, especially in America.
I I don't. I mean, we had contingency for everybody. I know what he
Yeah, but
thinks.
that's
Like,
different.
yeah,
That's different though. That's contingency in spot of sponsorship. So Like these guys would buy thousands worth of kit, and then they go to a race, and if they not win, they fucking flip out. They max out their credit cards and try to get that by winning. Like I like seriously, like I'd be fucking scared to go to a race in America. Someone's gonna fucking kill me if I beat them.
You would definitely get killed in
Oh,
Finland.
for sure. Like imagine like I being in the pit saying like, oh fuck you guys, like I'm an arrogant one, and then I beat them in the main, like someone's gonna come and fucking shoot me. Fuck.
I don't think it's gonna be that far, but
No,
I-
fuck. Like people get shot in America every day. Fuck. I'm scared to even fucking go there then.
oh my gosh, I don't know, man. I don't know if that's a good idea. Because I think money should be saved for professionals. Like I really do.
100% agree.
I think it
Yes.
should be saved for professionals. I don't think every race should be a money race either. I know in drag racing that's what it is. It's all about the money. I don't think drag racing's a lot more controlled than this stuff. It's 2 lanes. You can clearly see when somebody's like causing an infraction. In RC offer it, it's just hard. I don't know, Will. He says, will the hobby grow with fewer brands and actually innovate versus sell every branded items? I don't know. I think
Innovation will only happen if winning actually like winning actually became difficult enough. These days, like you can, if you're a good enough driver, you can win with almost any car because there isn't brands that have put enough effort or their car isn't so much better than the others because there isn't enough money to where you can start dominating by making such a good car. Like there is in F1 or MotoGP, you can make such a good bike or such a good car that no one else can challenge you. Until that happens in RC, I don't think there will be a time where innovation actually starts to happen like rapidly.
right.
And that won't happen before we have money, and that won't happen before we have exposure, and that won't happen until we actually do something about stuff like Visions has done and RCGP has done, and that. So it starts from really that exposure. That's the first thing. Then comes innovation and all the rest of it. And I think actually the cars being more simple, cheaper, and there being more brands most likely grows the hobby. What doesn't grow the hobby is sort of giving people sponsorships, making hobby shops go bankrupt. That's the sort of issue. The issue isn't that there's too many brands. The issue is that the the market model is destroying itself, sort of. That's the issue, and we've been talking.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, Keenan
I
was
pressed
like,
the button by mistake.
yeah, Keenan got so excited when we talked about what's wrong with the market.
Well,
model for C.
because he goes on to
we
say,
talked about this for millions of times already.
I know,
but
I know.
That's the sort of issue.
he goes on to say, in drag racing, we have to the full scale drag racing. We have to show a receipt, the current sticker, and photo proof. It was during the time trials before we got a contingency check from the manufacturer. Even requires to fill out a 1099. Man, that's RC is. People will go nuts with that. No way.
Yeah, I think I don't know.
I don't want to spend any more
why,
time on that. I
don't
see that
understand
happening.
why. I don't understand why people are so fascinated by like payouts of races. Like why
Because
is
in
that
full
such
scale
a
racing, that people make money. That's why, and that's the big argument. Everybody says, "Well, I spend a lot of money, but I can win money."
Yeah, but
why.
that's a false hope. That's like saying, "Oh, you walk across the earth for me without eating any food, and I'll give you $1 million." Yeah, everyone's gonna fucking die on the way. Maybe one guy makes it miraculously through.
No,
But
but
that's
people
like,
do actually win
yeah,
money, man.
and
You do
people
win money at
also,
these races.
yeah, and people also buy lottery tickets, and maybe 1 out of 1 million
No, it's
wins.
not that rare. Like I know people that race full scale and you actually get money back.
Okay,
Like,
but how many have won more than they spent? No one.
I don't know those
Ever.
numbers,
Yeah,
Max. I
yeah,
don't know.
exactly.
I'm not experienced enough to give those. type of answers.
That's just false promises for idiots. That's nothing else. That's like I'm sorry, guys, to destroy your dreams, but that's how it is.
Look, you can make yeah, hey, you can make money racing full scale. I don't know how. I've never done it, so but apparently
You can make money racing RC too, but you just have to be good enough.
But see, but also full scale is bigger, a lot bigger. So we have to. We're comparing something to, something else. Magnus Berglund. Not much of a question, just thought. Both RC Racing TV and Live RC have stepped up their game during the Euros and Visions race. Things can get even better, but I think they should have positive feedback from us, the audience. I agree. We have. I really enjoyed the coverage at Visions. We're going to talk more about that. Excuse me. But yeah, both have definitely stepped up their games. Both do it in a different way. Live RC has the nice trailer that they pull up to, and they have probably a lot more resources available to them. And RC Racing TV is really like a traveling bunch of gypsies with everything in suitcases, and they're able to do a good job as well too. So, yeah, I guess it's working with what you have and using your imagination to do things better. That's what it comes down to. So, Mentrace, is Mayfield and Tessmann enemies now? Oh yeah, I would definitely say that they're enemies. Okay, so we have a question. Robbie Smith, a lot of races use rocket round. Would the RCGP style of the best 3 laps and a qualifying race make things more exciting and more track time for racers, while also helping people sort into mains from a single buggy class instead of 3 different classes? Hello.
What?
You blanked out. So basically what it's saying, would the RCBG use rocket round? Would the RCGP style of the best 3 laps and a qualifying race make things more exciting and more track time for the racers, while also helping people sort into mains from a single buggy class instead of 3 different classes? So what I guess what it's trying to say is, can you just do all of that seeding?
Would RCGP format be better for other races, basically? Or RC2?
Yeah, but he's asking instead of, while also helping people sort into mains from a single buggy class instead of, okay, so I think what he's trying to say is, instead of having 3 different sets of qualifying for 3 different, like sportsman, open, and pro, you use RCGP qualifying for everybody, and then you just take their sort them after that. I believe that's what he's asking.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, 100%. I think what all the big races in America should do is, in qualifying, there are no classes. Where you pay an entry to a class, you pay to Nitro Buggy, and then let's say first 50 make it to pro, second 50 make it to intermediate, and the rest are sportsmen. That's it. So if you make it to top 100, that's it. You got into the intermediate. And if you didn't, yeah, tough luck. Maybe if you win sportsman, you can make it up to intermediate or something. I don't know. In my opinion, there doesn't need to be a class. But if the old men want a piece of cardboard, give them their own class so they can win that. But I think that's the best way to do it. That way, it's much easier for the organizer. It's not like you will, especially at races where there's less entries, that's going to make it much, much easier, because you won't have 8 car mains. You will have always 12 or 15 car mains, how many the track can fit. So yeah, 100% do it that way.
He also wants to say, sub-question, how can we modify a race structure like that to fit smaller club races to keep an efficient program running in a one-day race with less than 150 entries?
Does it mean trucks as in like basher trucks?
No. How can we modify the race structure to fit a smaller club race to keep an efficient program running?
Joseph has posted a lot of these. I don't know if he made the format public, but there are many good ways. One way to do it is to have a lot of entries. One way to do it is to run each class at a certain part of the day. So for example, run Nitro Buggy in the morning, E-Buggy in the day, and then Nitro Truggy in the night. So that way, if there's a guy who is like, okay, I don't have 3 cars, he doesn't have to stay there for 12 hours just to drive 3 times. He can stay there for 5 hours, then sit back, have a few beers, and check out the e-buggy mains, and then head back home, or don't have beers and then drive back home. Have a guy drive for you. But anyway, head back, have fun, and chill out. He doesn't have to stay there for 12 hours and then drive after that. That's one way to do it. That's a really good way for something like JBRL, which has sometimes over 200 entries, and they run it on one day. That's number one. So split the classes in certain sections of the day. Part two, also the good part about that is you don't have to run class after one another. So you have your touch. If you have, you can run like Nitro Bug in the morning. You can wrench your e-buggy, get it done, and even better, you can run the same clips. So you can run Nitro Bug in the morning, then you can just change the chassis and run e-buggy. So so many positives about this. That's number one. Number two is don't run 5-minute qualifiers, because when you have a club race, you run twice on a track. Someone's gonna break and then have a bad qualifier. They're gonna get pissed, and it's gonna suck for them. So run best 5 laps, best 3 laps. You go out on the track for 5 minutes, and that's it. That way you can practice the track, learn the lines. You don't have to be scared that you're gonna crash and do stuff. So you can sort of find your lines. You can focus on the driving, get your laps in, and in the end, the results will be the same, almost exactly the same. Apart from the fact that now you won't have those sort of flukes of guys having bad luck and then doing bad because of that. And then the mains, that way you also save time for the mains. So you can have 20-minute mains for Nitro Buggy bump ups, and a 30-minute or 45-minute main for final. Maybe not 4 classes. Also, actually, please just have one class. Don't have in club racing. There's no reason to have more than one class. There's no way you're gonna have over 100 entries on like sportsman buggy, because there's most likely just 200 entries altogether on many different classes. So one class for each car class. So then you'll end up with like 60 buggies, 60 truggies, and whatever e-buggies you have. That way, it's much more easier for the organizer. The drivers will still find a guy to battle with. If they want the piece of cardboard to bring back home, give each sort of main winner a cardboard piece of plastic and say that's your trophy, and then everyone will be happy. That's, in my opinion, the best way to make a club race work with he said 150 entries on one day. You can easily make that happen. You can have 2 runs of practice and then a main, easily that way. 2 runs of qualifying, sorry.
Okay.
And you have the qualifiers with the best 5 laps or best 3 laps or whatever it is.
We have a lot of questions about classes this week. So
Yeah.
John Nolan actually asked, do you think track should have different classes to separate the skilled from the newer people, or just group them all up? One side, you get the newer people to get a chance at a win and move up the classes, but then there's also a point where there's too many classes. There won't be enough to run them all.
Yeah.
I would say it depends as well too. So I want to retract where you said at a club race. Now, at a club race, if you have a group of novices showing up with maybe an arm or a Traxxas or this or that, I think you should find a class for them and group them together. Like they need to have their 100%. Own class so they can enjoy and get the bit in their mouth and get into RC. We know that armor was probably better than their 2-wheel drives, Traxxas or whatever, or we just know that. I think that's feasible. I think that's good. If you have a club race, like I just go back like to Silverstone days. You go, you set up a track, we all raced our class. If you was faster than what you said you was, you got bumped up to be at the faster guys. It's easy. It was quick, easy, in and out. It was done in 4 or 5 hours. I get it. Look, classes ain't going anywhere at these big races because they just ain't going anywhere. But on a club level, you don't need a whole bunch of classes. Let people just drive. Like if you, let's say Sensor having a class with 2 4-wheel drive cars. Just let them run in the 2-wheel drive class with you, and wherever they finish, they finish. Like, yeah, you know what I mean. If they win, then they still only won 4-wheel drive class. The person who finished first with 2-wheel drive wins. So I just, it's just easier, faster day, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, but to me, the thing is like when I was a kid and I was running Finnish nationals, and the first race I went to, I made it to 116s or 1/8. I can't remember. 1/8 because there was only that many people, but I made it to 1/8, and then I was like, okay, next race I want to make it the quarters, and then I made it to quarters the next race, and then I think I even made it to semis at the end of the summer. But just making it to one main up for me was the goal. I don't. People shouldn't need to have like, no, I'm in the intermediate class. No, you're in 1/8 final, or you're in 116 final, or that's those are targets for people as well. And if you want to embrace the sort of fact that you can win something, win a prize or whatever, sort of this participation trophy culture that America really likes, apparently, you can give each one who wins their bump up or something like that a prize. So then
Mhm.
there's something to fight for, even in the lower mains, not just to for a bump up to bump up into a position where you can't make the top main. Because let's be honest, if you're at a JBRL and you're a sportsman guy, there's no way you're gonna make it to the main. But there's still something to fight for the bump up win, and maybe if that makes it, if that helps, give them a prize. I'm fine with that, but don't sacrifice the fun people could have because some people want the prize, because that's easy to solve.
All right. Cool. Zach Thomas asked the same thing. Why does racing have long qualifiers? We went over that. We should probably uh have shorter ones, 5 minutes with the 3 laps. I like that side of things. We're not gonna reiterate that. Adam Reevy wants to know: no brand has ever just released a car within 2 or 3 months and one of yours. Do you think this is being ignored? He's talking about Rafa winning with the Mayako. It's you see, I saw some comments like, oh yeah, look, first cars winning a Euros and it's first time, first 6 months, and then someone say, oh, it's just another JQ inspired car with a pro driver driving it. Yeah, but car is different from the JQ cars. Like, I don't,
Yeah,
there's lots of things that were tried on the JQ cars that are in this car, but this car is different. Like, it's when I tell people it's a completely new platform, it is a completely new platform. Like, there are a few things from the old car that are on it, but not much. Small things.
yeah, but let's be honest, it's a completely different car. There is almost nothing. It's a high KPI front end. The rear end is almost completely different. Like there's nothing same about it. There are same ideas, obviously, because it's Joseph who designed it. So whoever says, "Oh, it's just another JQ," is a total idiot and doesn't know anything about what they're speaking. But it's also a bit disingenuous, in my opinion, to say, "Oh, this is brand new car and it just wins the Euros." No, this car has been the work of what 15 years, 17 years of Joseph has done, and now he achieved it. I mean, for the people who sort of own Mayako and are Mayako, not just the designer Joseph, for those people, yeah, it's a significant. They first year they come out with a brand and they win the Euros. For them, yeah, it must be a great feeling. But for sort of Joseph and his car, yeah, he's worked a lot hard on this for a long time, and now he finally got it. And I think that's the sort of most genuine aspect of looking at it. But I think the more impressive part is David, whereas he worked a long time before he got like comfortable with HB, more than a year before he got really comfortable with the HB. Whereas now he pretty much, like, let's be honest, he just, I don't want to say dominated, but it
He
looked pretty
dominated
easy.
the race. He dominated the
Yeah,
race. He
but
didn't
it
dominate
like
qualifying and practice and all that stuff.
yeah,
Dominated.
I don't want to say dominated because he wasn't like from the lead from the start and then just run away, but he was in control from the start and it looked easy looking from the outside. So
Nobody could say anything bad about his win. Like you can't
exactly,
say anything bad
exactly.
about it. Nothing.
Yeah, yeah. There was not a one thing you could say, oh, this should have gone better in the main. So that part of it is, in my opinion, the most impressive. That the car was good enough where a pro driver could take it and win Euros just like that for in 6 months of driving the car. So that's the if you want to sort of give Mayako and Joseph and the car praise, that's the most, in my opinion, the most valuable angle of it. So yeah, that's my thoughts about it. But it's it's disingenuous to say like brand new car and someone wins, because this car has been in the works for many years in through JQ's own car, and he's refining the concept and understanding how to make the best car, and now becoming the thing with Mayako. But it's also disingenuous to say this is just a JQ. It is a new car, and it is
Mhm.
definitely a new car for David.
Most definitely. We got a couple more questions. And then we're gonna get onto divisions race. Robbie Smith wants to know: should pro drivers be fined or suspended either way by their sponsors or race sanctioning bodies for poor sportsmanship and childish meltdowns on the stand? Is not a good look to have an angry dwarf cussing and raging on the live broadcast. I actually we're gonna talk about this and more in divisions race coverage. So
Who is the angry dwarf? Is that me?
I think it's talking about Mayfield.
Oh, that's Mayfield. Ooh.
Well, Mayfield isn't the tallest guy in the world, you know.
I
He
don't
definitely
know.
looked
I
tall
can't remember.
against. He definitely looked tall against Tessmann. Tessmann.
I mean, to me, everyone's tall. So
Yeah. I'm trying to find one more question that I have her. Actually, it's from my. Actually, it's two. So I have one anonymous guy. He doesn't want to be named, but he wants to ask a question, and he asks. And let me find it. Actually, it's about Tebow. Is Tebow? He goes, why can't Tebow win races? Is he too old? Well,
ooh,
um,
harsh.
you know what? I don't think it's from lack of trying. He's definitely trying to win. It's Tebow's a conundrum. He'd be so fast in qualifying and do well, and then like in the mains, he just seems to disappear sometimes. And you hear him talk about is like the pace that these guys drive at, the pace. I mean, you heard David say it. He raced this main here at the Euros, and it was such a fast pace that it was the hardest race, probably one of the hardest mains he's run in his life. So I think what's Tebow is finding is that, like, yeah, he's fast, but he has to keep that pace up consistently now. And what's going on is it's that mid pack, man. That mid pack right now of a USA or even a European A main right now, it is full of guys in there that are trying to get to the front. Let's not make a mistake there. Like, so you know, he gets back like to this when you I just don't think like once you get back in that mid pack area and you're battling with those guys, it's so hard to make progression because you got to get through those guys, then chase down those other guys that are ahead. So I don't know what it is with Tebow. He seems confident. Is he too old? No, he's around the same age as these guys. He seems to be enjoying life. I think he's also doing a lot too. You know, he's also you know, selling his own stuff, and he's doing a lot more than a lot of these guys are doing. So I don't know. I want to see, like, there's races where I go and I'm like, yeah, Tebow's gonna do really good at this race, and then I'm pretty sure he wants to win as well. So I think he just needs to figure that out, and he'll be all right. He still has some time left in him. I maybe I don't know. Like, I mean, it's no real techno guy that's really blowing people away at this moment, I would say. I mean, Wiggins just did. Don't get me wrong. Wiggins just did, and he did well at this race. Um, but even like Seth Van Dalen and Tyler Jones, they're not lighting the world on fire right now. No offense to those guys. I know it's hard. I'm just saying my opinion on that. Joseph
Yeah,
said it too. So don't get
yeah. I don't. Yeah, I don't think I need to comment on this topic really, but I'll comment on the. I'll comment on sort of him being too old, which is not true. He's not too old, and I'll also comment on the sort of the what you said about the pace these days. And I don't even think it's sort of level of drivers is so high. I think the way our cars are currently, they are good enough to where you can go really, really fast with them, but they aren't good enough where it's easy to go that fast. And our tracks currently aren't sort of super easy tracks. And if they are easy tracks or flat tracks, then they are technical and they need a lot of sort of focus to keep the car there. So the cars are becoming so much faster that keeping that speed up is more difficult. And the reason why I say this because I watched Joseph drive, where his driving style just isn't sort of fast enough for him to do as good as he could do if we go back 10 years. Because then the cars were slower, you could make more mistakes. Um, the tracks were, well, early 2000s the tracks were more rough. So that is I think the the thing where the old driving style doesn't work as well anymore. You have to drive full speed all the time. And yes, Joseph does good still, and that wasn't like like he can't do good anymore. But he does good on certain tracks. He does good on tracks where you can't do full speed all the time. You have to know where to check up, and he's really good at that. He's really good at sort of knowing when to check up because that's how racing used to be. You used to have such big holes, and the cars would always break because they were much more fragile. So on tracks like that, the old school driving style works. But on sort of modern tracks, especially like the Euros this year, you can only be fast if you drive like a 10 scale, driver. And yeah, Canas, really aggressive driver. Ronafog, one of the most talented guys, and Coelho, same thing. They were
Do you
high on top.
think the lack of 10 scale driving has affected him?
David or
No,
Joseph?
Tebow.
Tebow. Maybe. I mean, maybe that is something he needs. Maybe he needs to sort of go back to trying to drive full speed like that. Maybe that will help him. I don't know. It definitely helped me at some point driving on EOS carpet because it's completely different to driving on a bumpy off-road tracks with an 8 scale car that has a clutch and there's dust and everything compared to driving on EOS carpet where there's just the carpet, just your car and the tires, and there's nothing really changing, and you have to go full speed all the time. There's no sort of checking up. There's nothing you need to worry about. You just drive as fast as you can for 5 minutes. So yeah, maybe for him to sort of realize that skill and to utilize that, maybe he needs to do that. Maybe it would help. You might be right.
And I just thought of that. I just thought of that.
Yeah.
Our last question, and this comes from my friend down in Australia, and he's looking at the Australian Nationals, which is coming up here shortly, but looks like it's going to be some rain. 6 heats of nitro, 5 heats of electric at the Australian Nets. Is electric nearly becoming the glory? Question for the NNRC podcast. Look, I hear there's going to be an e-buggy worlds next year. I think it should be. Yeah.
Interesting.
Joseph said this on the last podcast. I think they should do the e-buggy and the worlds together or whatever, or there will be an e-buggy worlds. I think it should be. I mean, e-buggy is big enough. I had this argument. I wouldn't say argument. I had this debate with one of my buddies the other day, and I said this, and I still believe this. I think, and this is no offense to people who just run e-buggy or e-truggy. And every year they say if we put the e-nats here, it's going to be packed, it's going to be rammed, it's going to have more people. I think that the e-buggy, e-truggy crowd of people want to go to races where there's definitely a sportsman, intermediate, and pro class. I think and this is, look, I don't want to get crucified by the e-buggy loyalists. I think that if you run Nitro like regularly, you are just a slightly bit more of a serious racer, because Nitro just takes so much more work than e-buggy to be competitive. Lots of people just do e-buggy because it's good. I've seen, like, when I was a team manager, how people would show me their e-buggy results and their Nitro truck results, and I'd be like, well, how's your Nitro buggy results? Oh, I'm not any C main there, but I'm an A main in e-buggy and truggy. Why? Because the power from e-buggy is fat, makes it easier, and I believe it gets you out of a lot of trouble. And truggy is bigger. So, and then there's different areas. I mean, if you look at the DNC, Nitro was the glory there. You know, it was way more Nitro cars than e-buggies. Then you look at where you go in the Southeast, at one of the race time events, the e-buggy and e-truggy is huge and could be big. It will be bigger than the than the Nitro turnout, but they have sportsmen, intermediate, and whatnot. So I think the reason we don't get a lot of people at the e-buggy nationals is because we don't have those classes, because there's people want it. And look, it's nothing wrong with I just want to say this, it's nothing wrong with just running e-buggy and e-truggy. I get it. I like it. You guys it's easy as plug and play. But Nitro is hard, and it's hard to do, and you have to love it, and you have to be serious about it. So
yeah, I think you pretty much said what I like to say, but I just do sort of say more about the subject. Is the people who go to sanction events and pay their licenses, even in Finland, they are the people who spend a lot of time on the hobby. And the people who spend a lot of time in the hobby, more often than not, drive Nitro buggy rather than e-buggy. E-buggy drivers, most of the time, or let's say, there is not a single Nitro buggy driver who shows up at the track with a backpack, a transmitter, and a car, and a few battery packs, because you can't do that. But there's so many people who shows up with just their car, their transmitter, and if they have a wheel come out, they'll go home. Like, I've seen so many people running e-buggies like that in America and also in Finland and in Europe, because you can't do that with an e-buggy. You can't just show up just with your car and transmitter and go drive a few packs on the track. But with a Nitro, you can't do that. And if you're the type of person who he doesn't even sort of take your tools with you when go out on track, you're most likely not the type of person who buys a Roar license. So it's pretty self-explanatory. When the hobby is easier, you don't need to put as much effort into it. Most of the time, you won't take it as seriously, and you would just do it as fun. When it takes all the time, most of the time you need to take it more seriously, because why would you do it? Why would you sort of waste your time for so much? So yeah, those are the main things in my opinion. But getting back to sort of could e-buggy be as serious? In my opinion, yes. And I wouldn't really mind if 5 years or 10 years in the future, e-buggy is the #1 class worldwide. I wouldn't mind that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Only thing I'd miss was long mains and the sort of feel of Nitro buggy, because e-buggies feel like bashers because there's so much power and all that. But I think when all manufacturers start to spend more time on e-buggies, then yeah, that will change also. But so I'm not really even worried if Nitro will go away or if e-buggy will take over, but I don't think that will happen.
Okay, cool. That's all our questions, dude, for this week. We had quite a few. So
There
thank you.
was one more in the Discord, but that's a science mode, and he wanted Joseph to answer that too. So.
Okay, so we'll wait till Joseph comes on. Thank you everybody for all your questions. Thank you to BHRC for their continued support. Remember, everybody, there's an affiliate link. If you can use that, helps us out a little bit. And we enjoyed your questions. It's been a long time since we did a long question. Like we did a good hour on that almost. So good stuff.
Yeah, that was good.
Now
Now we
we're
can
gonna
talk about the race.
yeah, now we're gonna talk into the race, and we have to have some word from some of our other sponsors. So thank you to Tekno RC for their continued support. I mean, as they won this weekend. Congratulations to them and Wiggins. A good victory for them at the first ever Visions RC off-road race.
Tekno RC. Tekno RC. Tekno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.teknorc.com for a complete catalog of their products. Tekno RC. Excellence in engineering. Hashtag Tekno Takeover.
And thank you to Tekno RC for their continued support. Congratulations to the Wizard, Jared Wiggins, for his win at the Visions RC off-road race. And also, it was good to see Tekno send they send a good squad up there. They sent Tebow, they sent Seth Van Dalen, their mechanics. Matt was there. So it was good. Tekno took this serious. They sent a good team up there, and they got rewarded with a win. Like I said, if you would have told me Wiggins would have won this from the get-go, I would have told you shut your mouth. But he did, so congratulations to him. And before I go on any further, I just want to say congratulations to Brandon Rode, Live RC, everybody that was involved with this, because there was a lot of negativity going into this as well prior to this, I would say. And I know Max and I were very supportive of this. A lot of negativity due to the fact that it was on the same weekend as the ENATs. But this was a race that couldn't be canceled because it's a whole event. Then there was like a lot of negativity about getting the bracelets and having all that stuff and everybody needing that. That was waved off. And then obviously the entry count wasn't high for this race. But that's fine because it still was a great race. I wish there was more entries. I feel their pain, how it feels like to have a race with a whole bunch of negativity prior to it. Not just negative. There was a lot of people positive about it too. But, there's a lot of people complaining and then being teased about being the entry count. But as I think one thing that we learned from this race, Max, is that it doesn't matter what the entry count is. You can still have a good race. And
yeah, surprise.
Yeah, we've
actually,
been
I think
saying that.
It's actually, I think even for them, it was much better than they had such low entry count because they could do everyone on the live stream. The live stream was so much easier to do. They could do more running. Everyone got more track time. The track stayed together a bit better, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah. All of that. And we've been saying this for I don't know how many years.
Don't get me wrong. I wanted it to be more entries though, and I will explain why later on. But
yeah, they could have had like over 100, 120.
Yeah, something. I think it would have been good to have 100 people there if that would have been possible.
Yeah,
more. So, and I'll explain that why. But I give them heads up to them because I also don't think they had much time to put this together. I think this is maybe kind of something that came together at the last moment. I don't know all the details. I'm assuming to make people look like an ass. But I just know kind of the way it was announced, it's kind of seemed like they only had a few months to get this together. So let's talk about this because I am very positive about this race. I enjoyed it. I do have some things I do want to say about it, but I want to talk about all the positive things first. I think we should probably might as well get it up and playing while we're talking about it. I would say. First off, Max, let's start off with the track. So I'm not gonna lie to you here and say, oh, the track was so great, and there was this and there was that. As an RC racer, the track for me was the best track was at the here we got Jared T. I did like this. Like these interviews look nice. They were doing these interviews with the drivers and all that stuff. I thought that was really good. They did get some of this stuff wrong, but that's just coordinating with. I know how that goes. It's hard. So the track, I understand why they made it this size because it looks better on camera. It actually created better racing. I would say too, more close racing. I did not like that. I did not like the step up. I love Joey's step ups. Don't get mad at me, Joey. I love your step ups, but I just thought that step up was in the wrong position. I did not like. If you're gonna have a jump, I want to see the cars clear it. But the track got super rough, dude. Super rough, and I think because of that, it made it better. You know that it wasn't so technical because then it would have been a lot more accidents and stuff like that. I'm just trying to fast forward to the actual race in her, see if we can see some racing. Okay, this is
to give my thoughts on the track. I think the back jump was a bit too big, like because he knew he was gonna break up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The back jump was a bit too big. Also, the lap time should have been more than 20 seconds. Like these
I
guys,
would agree with you there. I agree with you there.
These guys had lappers like 3 minutes in. So even it's so hard to it's harder to follow the race, to sort of be interested in battles when there's lappers all the freaking time. So
I agree with that. I agree with that.
He should have tried to make it at least 30 seconds.
Look, I'm not criticizing them that much about the track. I'm looking at
I mean, the track otherwise was nice. The back jump was a bit too harsh. There was lots of carnage there.
Yeah.
The step up was a bit weird. You couldn't clear it at all. So it was just jumping into a wall. And the track was a bit too short. But those aren't like huge, like, oh, the track sucked. No, the track was.
It made for great racing. I enjoyed it.
Nice tracks, and the racing was pretty good. So the track was all right. But there were a few things I didn't like.
Yeah,
those were three.
The step up was what I really didn't like. I mean, near the end of the race, it was kind of like where they just singled it. And what I didn't like about that big jump on the back was it was a lot of mistakes, like jumping off the track, and it's just because it was far away. This is a different type of track. It was far away. Driver stand now. The driver stand is wonderful, like perfect. Like if all tracks could have a driver stand like that, it'd be great.
Yeah,
it was very good.
And like the track area, like the fences around the track and the side, what you call those, the mid areas. What's called this? Like around the track.
Yeah.
Those were nice, like the green carpet. So the track looked very nice.
It was painted. It wasn't green carpet. It was painted.
Oh, okay, painted. Okay, anyway, but it looked nice, and the track area looked pretty clean. So the track overall was pretty good.
So we have to look at this. So I want people to look at this, and I tell many people, let's get out of our RC racing brain what we like. You know what I mean? And we have to look at this as this is an exhibition of what we do, right?
Yeah.
So the track doesn't have to be super technical. The track has to just look cool. People probably, people stumbling on this for the first time, and it's going to be like, oh wow, like we didn't even know that you guys raced, let alone that. So, but like I said, my main gripe is the step up, and the back jump maybe was a little bit too big, and it was just a little too far away, hard to judge. So it kind of the car's just jumping off to the side. That's my thing. I love what was you gonna say?
One thing, I think it wasn't good was there were so many spots where you can jump off track, and then people were just driving over pipes and marshals running behind the cars. So it looks a bit silly if you're not from RC.
Right.
For us, it looks like marshals just getting the car, but for someone seeing RC the first time, it's like, what the fuck is that guy doing there with his ass crack showing?
I did like that they on the first lap they did a 180, so there wasn't no pile-ups real up there, and they did a complete lap. I like that.
I think more tracks should do this. I think that's actually a good thing to do. So that a bonus for that.
Yeah, I like that. And I really I can't say enough how great the driver stand is. I wonder what happened to Joey. He didn't have his arm in a sling the night before. But Yeah, I like that, and I liked the practice track on it. Man, the practice track, like for people to just track, not practice track, but for people to try. By the way, this is the start of A3. We're gonna watch this. This is not my footage. This belongs to Live RC. We're just streaming it off there while we talk about it. The Try Me track was just as big as this. So I mean, this is a very big driver stand. I don't know if the future is to have a bigger track, but it would be nice to see a slightly bigger track. But if this is what we have to deal with, then if this is what it's decided going to be, then so be it. We'll figure out a way to make it more intricate.
Yeah, it doesn't really have to be too much bigger in size, but maybe make it so that lap time is slightly longer, so you don't get lappers so soon.
Yeah,
that's probably the only thing I change really.
And as much as I say this is for the show, if you want to get RC racers there, you're gonna have to put in a track that they want to come race on too. And as an RC racer, you have to understand that this track can't be wall ride like as crazy as you want it to be. That's my thoughts on the track. The roughness made it more exciting too, and made it harder. So like that jump, like I used so many people making so many crazy mistakes on that jump.
To me, when the cars look more like bouncing cars than racing cars, that's an issue. So that's something we should all sort of try to avoid, making the tracks too difficult. So especially like this jump, most of these guys crash there at least twice per main. So like when you can't follow the race and it's hard to follow the race, it's not exciting to follow it because you have to focus. You're like, what the fuck? Fuck this shit. So that's something I think like I've said this to like people at RCGP that hey, like the South Carolina track, it was just like I didn't really like to watch it because everyone was just crashing the whole time, and they're like the section after the straights, like that was just pure carnage. So like I think for all who try to make it more appealing to outside, make it look nice, make it look crazy, but don't make it so hard for the drivers. Make it
I agree with you.
It's nice to see a car crash, like for a new or someone who doesn't know RC, like oh shit, like you saw that crash, the car didn't brake, like that's exciting. But when that happens every lap, then it's just like, what am I watching here? Bouncing cars or racing cars, you know?
Yeah, that was my only complaint, and you know what? I know that they'll do a better job next year, as well. So I'm not worried.
Yeah, like, and this is for anyone who's getting their panties in a twist. This is not like a huge deal. This is like me nitpicking here.
Yeah, this is our reaction. We weren't there. Yeah. By the way, this is not a recap. This is a reaction to this that we're doing. By the way, I think it's better that we call them reaction. But you can see here, it did make. It got a line. I like the doubles. The
doubles.
I think, and visually it looked good. And remember, all of this is getting packaged into a 1 hour package that's going to be on MavTV. So I like that. I thought it was. See, like Tebow, like Tebow would never really make a mistake like that normally.
Yeah.
And that was a difficult part of the track. So, but otherwise, I think for what they had, that Lutz?
Yeah,
Sorry,
this looks silly. Like that's what I was talking about. That's all. That's like the only things I was like, oh, I didn't quite like that. But otherwise, I was like super happy watching the race and like. Can we talk a bit about the coverage too? The coverage was
we got that. We got that in my notes. Yeah. Let's talk about the format first because I think that this by the way, I think the smaller race made for better coverage. More up close, less guessing what cars were and all that type of stuff too.
Yeah.
So I understand that. I understand that. Format. So look, I understand why they did this. I liked it. It was exciting. You're going to have 3 15-minute mains roughly that we're going to put into an hour long, like, program. You can put your B-roll in between and your intros and the stuff. It works out great. I think it made for exciting racing. I liked, is it your typical type of race? Because I believe they kind of picked straws or numbers to determine qualifying starting positions. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think qualifying starting position was
like
Maybe they did.
random.
Maybe they did it from seeding actually, because they did
No,
seed
they
it.
didn't. They kind of if I
Oh,
ever
so it was random. Because I
yeah,
thought
I
it
think they
looked
kind of
it looked random because it didn't look like it was from seeding round, but they did
right.
seeding though. But I don't know if they used the results to anything.
I don't think they did. And then I believe what I did like though, which made it exciting was so where you qualified in your
Round.
qualifier, you started there in your corresponding main.
Yeah. So
So I
Q1 was A1 and
mhm.
Q2 was A2. So that was interesting. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, I would say that is almost like for those who may complain about the starting gate at RCGP, that's like the starting gate, I would say. It can happen if you have a good qualifier, you start in second or third, that's great for you. In fact, I think Wiggins in his A2 started in second. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but I think the interesting is that that builds much more storyline. Like imagine
mhm.
Mayfield had a really bad Q3, and then it was like, oh, Mayfield and whatever Tessmann, Mayfield has a win, and or someone else has a win, and now Mayfield had a really bad Q3, so he starts from back of the pack and he has to make it all the way up, and then you follow Mayfield and he makes it through the pack, and like there's much more
Mhm.
storyline in there to happen. So that's why I think that type of qualifier system is interesting.
I 100% agree with you on that one. 100% agree. It made it interesting, and it took me a while to figure it out too. I was like, hold on, why is qualifying different in A2? And then I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's what led to like Ty Tasman to me and contesting her in A3.
Yeah, he started first year, and like then Mayfield catched him, and then
Mm-hmm.
like exactly what I just explained, like more drama because of the qualifying starting format, and that's kind of what we want as a
Yeah.
spectator.
Yeah, because this is geared to spectators and the TV show.
Yeah,
So I
and
thought that was
it's still fair. It's not unfair. It's like you
yeah.
qualify there, and that's it. It's not like adding randomizers. It's like
No, yeah.
just
I would agree with her.
it's
I
it's
liked it.
nice.
I
Yeah.
liked it. Made sense. Made sense. I like the format. What else? That's about it. I don't really have much else to say about the format besides that it made for exciting racing.
Yeah.
And
Only thing for me was I would have liked two longer mains. So two mains where there's like let's say it's 20 minutes where you could maybe make it with one pit stop or two pit stops. So then there's more strategy there.
right.
You could sort of have that. So that is something. So maybe have two 20-minute mains, obviously with laps like you did. I 100% use laps instead of time, or then use 20 minutes plus one lap or whatever it is. But
Oh, what a
I
pit
think,
stop.
yeah, I think the only thing I would have liked was two slightly longer mains instead of three
You
15-minute
wanted more
mains.
pit strategy.
Yeah, yeah, because that is something that's really really interesting about Nitro. That's what makes Nitro, in my opinion, different to eBug is the long mains with pit strategy and all that.
Wow, what a fast pit by Drew Spurgeon on
Yeah,
Mayfield. He
yeah,
was fly. Mayfield was hammered on her too, by the way.
yeah, yeah. So maybe like two 19-minute runs. So maybe what that would have been like 50 laps or something. This was 40 laps, right?
Yeah.
So two 50-lap mains where you could make it with one stop, but most people would maybe need to make two. So that would have been more interesting in my opinion.
Okay. So you feel that way. I get why you want that. You want more fuel
Yeah.
strategy coming into it.
And
But
the thing is like that's for next year. That's not even like, oh, they should have done it this way. That's for like, hey, this was cool. Like next year, in my opinion, that could be even cooler.
yeah, I
So
agree.
that's why I'm saying it.
I agree with you. I would say it's definitely brings in this pitch strategy. But I did enjoy this. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, 100%.
I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it. All right, let's go on to coverage. Well, like we said earlier, both of these companies have stepped up their coverage. Live RC has been doing a lot of full scale coverage. I even thought that the Live RC coverage of the ENATs was good. They sent one guy there for camera, and it was good. Multiple angles. They went out and got a lot of B-roll throughout the weekend. I remember when I first started watching this, I was like, what's going on? It's just one camera. But then I was like, they're probably out there doing what we would be doing at RCGP, getting the B-roll, getting all that. They got the sliding camera, which I like. They had lots of different angles. I think the key to my enjoying this the most was the commentating. I really enjoyed having the guy Ken Stout on, who is he's a full-scale announcer for this company, MavTV. He knew nothing about RC, as you can tell, but he still made it very exciting. Mike Garrison was a very good co.
Oh yeah, Mike is really good.
He was. I forgot how good he was, and he was able to fill in all the gaps. So why I liked this guy Ken Stout, because it's really good for anybody any average Joe that might stumble onto this, which is the hope, right? We want the people to stumble on this. We want this to promote what we do. So he makes it a lot more relatable to the average person, I feel, that is tuning into this. And if you don't really get it, like his voice, when you think of like American motorsports, his voice is very what I would think of, like, you know what I mean? The way he talks. Also, he compared it to full-scale racing. And you can see as he went on throughout the weekend, he was learning about this. And he wasn't biased towards any of the drivers. He called it how he called it. And I liked this by Live RC, by the way, the picture with the drivers and this and what we're seeing right now. I like that.
Yeah, actually, you're right about the commentating part. Okay, maybe we should watch this now because this is where all the drama happens. Then I'll continue. So yeah, Mayfield makes a mistake and Tessmann goes by, and now the drama happens. If you're listening to an audio, this is the clip where Ty takes out Mayfield.
Ooh, when I saw this, dude,
that was a hard hit. Yeah, that was a hard
when
hit.
I saw that, all I thought was Mayfield getting fenced at the 2017 Neo.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it. But that was exactly the same. Yeah, that was almost exactly the same.
But he was trying to overtake Ongaro, remember?
Yeah, I remember he was outside and then Ongaro pushed him out.
Pushed him over.
Yeah, but yeah, just to continue on the commentating part, that's 100% the deal. We had at the last round of Finnish Nationals, we had the national Finnish National Broadcast Center come and do a broadcast to Finnish national television of our main final. So there was one commentator from the broadcast center and one was an RC guy. And that is so much better because someone like Scotty, he's, in my opinion, great at announcing and he does a great job. But oftentimes he can only do that to RC people, He can't really sort of bring him when he gets excited and he gets going. He can't sort of bring himself back to that sort of regular people level. But this guy doesn't have the RC level. He doesn't know enough of RC to sort of bring stuff that people wouldn't know. So he has to explain everything in a way that he understands it. And if he understands it, most likely the viewer who hasn't ever seen RC will understand it.
Exactly.
That's why I think this is like, especially at events like this, and perhaps even RCGP, this could be a thing that could be more utilized. Maybe RCGP is a bit different because it's a series; it's much more brought out. This is more of a exhibition race, but even then, I think there is a sort of if you want to advertise to outside of RC, this is one way to make it much more accessible to people who doesn't know anything about RC.
100% agree. 100% agree. And he was very unbiased about his opinions, or he just called the racing. So and Scotty did a good job of being a pit reporter. And I just
100%,
And I just forgot. It's been a long time since I've heard Garrison, and he just played a great role filling in those gaps, explaining different things. And
exactly.
I for me as a spectator watching this online, it made Saturday super enjoyable to watch. I enjoyed his Ken Stout, and a lot of people, you can hear even on our Discord, a lot of people, wow, it was good to hear it. And I thought that was one of the most positive things and probably the best thing that they could have done with this. I enjoyed the interviews that they got done with the drivers. It looked very professional, like, you know, what they just had with Tebow and that. And they got to talk to him for a few minutes. We saw her Ty winning. And then this is like fresh right afterwards. And this is the drama. Oh, did they cut it? Oh, no, they didn't cut it. So this is when Mayfield is arguing with Ty. And we didn't see the part where he pushed him, but they were arguing. And Ty's just looking at him like, you know what I was thinking? Like, if that was JQ, which it would never be, like if he was in Ty's position and he just beat Mayfield, which would never happen. JQ at that point, when Mayfield was at his most aggressive, would have said something like, "But I still beat you," and that would have.
Yeah. Like that's the thing. The smile Ty had was same as JQ would have had, but Joseph would have said something to like light the fire up. So.
Oh my gosh! If JQ would have been smiling like that, and then Mayfield would have punched JQ with his radio, like JQ would have fell off the driver's stand.
Yeah,
because he would have said something like, you could see Ty was like, "What are you so mad at? Like what are you so mad at?" We're gonna get into that.
But even Ty got a bit riled up because he went pretty hard on the interview. Like,
he did. We're gonna play that. We're gonna get that all up, and we're gonna play that. Oh, 1 second. I'm gonna remove this, and we're gonna go back to us for now. So that was obviously A3. That's what everybody's talking about this weekend. I just want to finish up on the coverage. I like the overlays that they done. I like the picture of the driver with his car. Also, they had some of that with the driver stand. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, that's always good when you show that there's an actual guy who is driving the car. There's more storyline. The people want to see a face, not just the car.
Yeah.
And one thing actually, when I was watching the Euros and I was watching the RC Racing TV overlay, and I was like, yeah, now I remember why RC Racing TV is so good. The overlay, you can read it so easily. You can see the gaps between drivers. With the live RC overlay, it's like laps and like everything. It's just like it's switching around, like what is last lap. Yeah, there's a lot of info, but it's much harder to read. So I think that is something I'd like to see change a bit. Because
I enjoyed the overlays, but I know what you mean. You like to see the times of the people behind,
because it's easier to follow like what's happening if the announcer isn't sort of saying what's happening all the time, or when you have like the times there.
But all the transitions, all the graphics, I thought even the commercials were great, like the J Concepts commercials, the A-Man, Rotac commercials were great.
I really like the interviews; those were great because. That's where you see the face of that's where you spill the storyline. I haven't watched enough of RCGP, but I don't know if they've had that in the gaps, but that's definitely what they should sort of copy. Like it doesn't have to be long, like maybe 30 seconds or something. Like,
they've been doing it. They done it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I thought we see what Live RC can do. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I was able to. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't watch much of the other classes besides the Nitro buggy class and maybe the Pro E buggy classes. And when they came on, I watched them, and I watched them on the big screen, and I enjoyed it. So I thought it was good. Congratulations. I thought the coverage was good. I thought the transitions. Okay, I saw some hiccups. Like for me, now that I've worked with RC Racing TV. I can imagine it's so much scrambling going on, and you get things like, little hiccups, but they'll get that fixed. No problem. I thought the graphics was great on certain things. Yeah, it was good. Very good. I give it 2 thumbs up on the coverage. And I think what it done is when they package that, when MavTV takes all that coverage and that footage, and whoever's going to edit this, they're going to come up with a great, I guess it's less, not a full hour, but let's say 50-minute product of that we're going to have out in RC. So I'm happy about that. Super happy about that. All right. And we should look at how Wiggins won this race, by the way, because
Yeah, how would
He
actually? I never saw the points. How close was Tessmann to the win?
do they have it here? Invite Nitro Buggy Triple A man. So it was 1 point. So Wiggins
Yeah, so he was
won by
close.
1 point. He got a sixth in A1, a first in A2, and he got a third in A3. Okay.
Exactly, that's the thing because he was fourth. Like Lutz was fourth, he was fifth for the longest time. Then Mayfield retired, he got bumped up to fourth, and he made it by. No, Lutz was second in the. No, Ogden was second in the end, and Wiggins in third, I believe, in the last minute. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ogden finished second in A2, and Tessmann finished third in A2. Lutz finished 11th. He started on pole in that, but he something happened to him.
What about A3? Who was the
A3,
top
Lutz
three?
finished second.
Okay, so yeah, so Ogden was there, and he got
Ogden got
and Wiggins
Ogden got a
five.
4, a second, and a fifth. Lutz got a
Yeah,
second, 11, and a second. Tebow got an
yeah.
8th, 7th, and 4th.
Yeah, so Wiggins was just more consistent. He was just better than the rest. Like,
Yeah,
there's no way someone can say he got lucky or nothing. Like, he was just better than the rest.
yeah. Look at Mayfield had a first, a 15th, and a 9th because he broke in his second round. That big
Yeah,
jump that happened, dude.
yeah,
I
yeah.
must say there were some big builders. Man, he knocked the builder out of that jump. I was like, ooh,
But I think Mayfield had a shot at winning it too, if he
I think
won the
so.
last one. But yeah, with a 15, that was tough. But yeah, so Tessmann had a first and a second
He
and
had a
some bad.
first, a third, and a 7th.
Yeah, so the seventh kind of hurt him.
Yeah.
1 point. Yeah.
Well, let's
Dang.
see where he started in that 7th race, by the way. So let's see. Qualifier 1. Where are you?
He had a
He
really bad starting
Yeah,
spot
he
in the
started
first one.
9th
Yeah,
in that
so
run.
yeah, so the qualifier really hurt him. So maybe that was like if he had a better qualifier, he could have won.
Also,
Yeah.
Little bumped up from the invite class and got $1,000 too, or $1,500.
Yeah, I think mechanic and hooks too, right?
Yeah, Hooks got some
Bump.
money too.
Yeah, but
So that's cool. I like that they spread the wealth out over everybody. Everybody got some money.
yeah, and it was funny when people said, "Oh, Mayfield's fighting for 30K," or like, no, that was never the case. It was if you won, you could get maximum. Like the maximum you could get was I think 15K.
Yeah. He had
If
to
you
sweep
if you
all
won,
mains.
yeah, if you swept all mains, you won that. It was 15K.
Okay. Well, Max, I think we're gonna take a break and get pay some bills here real quick, and then we're gonna get into the whole incident because we're gonna go into that really deep. So hey, you know what? This is that those are listening to the audio. This is the Invisible Speed commercial. If you haven't signed up for the Invisible Speed online course, you should check it out. It's really good. It's yeah. So thank you to Invisible Speed for the continued support. Remember that if you want, I don't know if the 20% is still on, but you can go to invisiblespeed.net, sign up for the online course, and improve your driving. All right, Max. So the internet melted this weekend after A3 due to what happened between Ryan Mayfield and Tessmann. Man, when I saw that, I was just freaking out over that. I was freaking out over it. I love that type of stuff. I knew Mayfield was going to be upset, and I was like, please, sweet RC gods, let live RC go and capture this afterwards. Or somebody be there with a cell phone to capture this. Because one thing I do is I always capture the driver stand after a race to see
Yeah,
drivers'
there's
reactions.
so much shit happening after a race at the drive.
Oh my god! And when they turned around and I saw that Mayfield was shouting at him, my eyes was like, I was like, OMG, thank you, RC gods. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at it. This is from Live RC. This is their let's add this and let's have a look at it with sound. The intense action from the weekend.
This is incredible racing with 9 laps left to go.
Oh, and right there, another, they both crash. And they both continue. You've got to be kidding me.
Both drivers going into the fence there. Looks like Mayfield got the short of the stick on that one. Tessmann takes over the lead here in this one. So Ryan Mayfield dropping back to the number 2 spot. Unbelievable.
Boy, the fact that they all got
and
together
Mayfield is
crashing.
out of this one. Ryan Mayfield is out of the race. Unbelievable turn of events right there. That is Ryan Mayfield's car being carried off.
And 22 invite champion will be Tessmann, our champion. Luck's going to finish second in that one. Let's see who finishes third. It's a battle still. We got Wiggins getting by Tebow on the last lap for third. Maybe Tebow let him by. Who knows? For position.
Look at Tessmann's face. He's like, okay, aggressive. Let me see. What's volume 1 for that? Yeah, we have volume 1.
I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear.
Okay, well, I did have volume 1 for it, but I mean, everybody's seen this. Excuse me for a second. 1 second. I have to. I think that actual clip is probably at let's see, it's at 601 shares, and Lord knows how many.
I think it was like 30K yesterday.
No, it was like at 78 when I last checked. Thousands. It's probably over 100,000 now. So out of all that coverage, this is what went viral, and of course, the internet went crazy. Okay, so apparently I can't share the audio with this, I guess. A word. I don't know. We'll find out if the audio was in that clip. But anyway, if you didn't see that clip, that was the clip of Ryan Mayfield, which I didn't see from the camera angle at first, that he pushed Tessmann, and you can see he is obviously upset with him because he thought he had the line. It's created probably one of the greatest debates I've seen in a long time in RC. Of course, I kind of went under and screen captured that stuff right away. I kind of wanted to do that because I was like, oh man, I hope they don't erase this or sweep it under the carpet. I was worried. So as soon as this happened, I went right back to the to it and screen captured this and put up the video. I was worried because I didn't want to lose this precious time. It is this ultimate time in RC, because I was worried. I was worried they're going to hide it, but they didn't. Kudos to Live RC. They didn't hide it. They embraced it. And let's talk about the actual incident. So what are your thoughts on it? You had some pictures. Do we have them here? I mean, I wish we had a better video.
Let me find it.
All right. So Max has gone super science mode on this. I think everybody in the internet, there's so many different people saying, with opinions, who done it. I think we actually did a poll. I need to find my poll and find out what that was. I'm going to do that right now while Max is looking for the pictures. Believe it or not, the majority of the people favor Tessmann in the poll. So that was, I was shocked to see that. I thought for sure everybody would favor Mayfield in this one. But
did they think Tessmann was wrong or Tessmann was right?
That's a good question. They had more people blame Mayfield. Sorry.
Okay, so more people blame Mayfield. Yeah. Oh no, actually, yeah.
That goes against your analogy, your analysis.
Yeah, to me it was pretty clear. Like Tessmann just took him out.
You just think he took him out?
Yeah, I mean, like when they hit, Tessmann was 100% behind. I don't have the picture of the incident here of the now one, but I have the picture of a previous incident. How the fuck do I share it? Slides. What is this?
Oh, the pictures. Just go to view screen. So Max is trying to find his evidence. He went deep here.
Okay. So I'm gonna share this picture. This is what I want to show. Can you see it or no?
No, it's not showing up on this side here at all yet.
Okay.
You got to hit share screen here down here.
Okay. So this one. What the fuck?
You got to hit share screen down here in the bottom down here.
This one. Okay. Now.
No, yeah. Okay, here we go. I'll add to stream. Okay, so there's your picture from Silver State.
This is a picture from Silver State in, I believe this is 20. Yeah, this year.
This
Silver
year.
State
Yeah,
e-buggy.
I remember when this happened. I was there.
Yeah, so we can all remember Igor Tessmann being quite frustrated with this move.
Yes.
Let me take that off now, and let me instead take.
He was very angry with Mayfield. I talked to Gord. He didn't want to talk to him. So very similar situation. Very similar.
And I'm taking too much time on this, but
we should have been better prepared.
I should have done this before. I was supposed to do this before.
That's right. Everybody blame the arrogant one.
Yeah. This is a picture of the incident. No. Fucking. I am so bad at this.
He cannot figure out StreamYard. I'm actually better at this than him. Believe it or not.
Okay. So now, share screen. All right. We are good now. So here you should be seeing a picture of the incident here. Now we can look at the other one. You can see the other one, right?
No, that's gone. You can't share both. Okay. But this is.
But you can see.
Yes.
These incidents
are very similar.
I don't really see any difference. And in my opinion, like, if you hit a guy from behind like this, and especially Mayfield was like, if you see the pictures, Mike, I think Mike Walker commented on your post.
Yeah, he broke the radar.
Like before, like when you go into the corner, Mayfield was like when exiting the corner, Mayfield was so far ahead, and the Tessmann just came from the outside and rear-ended him. 100% Tessmann's fault, but I'm pretty sure these two incidents sort of have some connection. If the first incident didn't happen, I'm pretty sure the second one wouldn't have happened either. So in my books, it's 100% Tessmann here.
So here's our polls. Here's what the people think. Now, I didn't upgrade to nothing, so it doesn't give me all the answers, but it says 319 answers. So the question was, the Tessmann versus Mayfield clash at the 2022 Visions RC off-road race. Who is to blame? 40% say Mayfield, 32.5% say Tessmann, and 27.5% say 50-50. I'm one of the 50-50 guys. Oh, can you see that?
No,
is it showing up?
Yeah, I can see that, but it's not 50-50.
I beg to differ.
No, when someone passes you on the inside and then on the exit you rear end them, that's not 50-50. That's just taking someone out.
No, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
If they hit 5 meters before, then yeah, it would have 50-50. But they were already on the straight. Mayfield was ahead, and Tessmann just rear-ended him.
You don't think Mayfield ran over a little bit too far to block him, and you have to go for it at some point, though. You have to go for it.
No, but the thing is, if you block someone when they're behind you, especially there when you just naturally let the car go wide. That's fine because Tessmann was behind. Tessmann hit him from behind, not from the side. So at that point, there's no questions about it. Tessmann had more drive from the outside because he was there. He was earlier there, so he could go on power earlier. But he was outside, so Mayfield had the line on the inside, and then Tessmann just rear-ended him.
No,
but
I get this. I understand why Mayfield's upset. Don't get me wrong.
No. Like I would understand Mayfield being upset even if he was wrong, but here he was right and he was upset. But
okay,
I don't
so
think
you
I don't
think
think
he's right.
He's
Okay.
right, and I don't think he still has the right to yell at him like that. I mean, he shouldn't, but I mean that's good entertainment, so I'm fine with it.
So let's talk about that. All right. So everybody, so my thing is, and you heard this, you heard Mayfield say this early in the day in his interviews. It's money on the line. Things are different. He said this. So to those out there in the comments that keep saying, well, there's always money on the line. Yes, this is true. There is contingency. I assume that the contingency for this race was not as big. Just because this is a new race, it isn't as prestigious. Like you can't expect
Most likely there weren't any contingency. I don't
Or
think there
that
was
too.
because I believe most of these guys plan a race schedule for the year, and a lot of manufacturers say, okay, you go to this race, you go to this. For this race, we don't send you, and then they have contingency for some of the races or all of the races that's in the schedule. And this
We don't
was
know.
added quite late because I
Right.
doubt Mayfield knew about this race when he was making his schedule for 2020.
Exactly.
2022.
Exactly. So I would say contingency was low. I think they still get something, but there's also a payout. So there's the thing. So I just want people to put that in perspective first. So I think people so at one point, I think if Mayfield would have won this, he might have won the entire event, and that was $6,500. So imagine you're at work and you are competing for $6,500. You get past, like you think you're in, you make this pass, you're racing, and someone just blows by you and takes that away from you, takes all your chance of winning that. You would be upset at real work too. You would be upset. Like 65 people, like that's not a lot of money, dude. If I had $6,500 right now, I have my budget for good worlds plus enough money to pay off some debt. You know what I mean? I would love to have $6,500 right now. So I don't, and people saying that they always race from. This is different. This is direct money. This is going to be on television. They have one more race where they race each other before the Worlds. What? You bet your boots. Like this is a big deal for these guys.
But I don't think the money is the big deal, but I think all of the rest of the things you said. It's on TV. It's like a run for glory. These two have a history together from Silver State. So if it was any other driver on there, that wouldn't have happened. Not the hit. If it was Tessmann versus someone else, or Mayfield versus someone else, Mayfield wouldn't have yelled after the hit, and Tessmann
These guys have a long history.
Tessmann wouldn't have done that to anyone else. So I think that is the reason why, because Mayfield most likely knew that Tessmann did that on purpose, and he kept it pinned because it was Mayfield, not because there was a driver.
Right, I get what you're saying. These guys haven't liked each other for some time, I would say.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
100%.
I remember Mayfield getting mad at Gord because, like, I always say that the Tessmanns operate in that gray area. Like, it's not like they do things, like they do everything to win. Like, they would be pacing behind Mayfield during his practice and all this type of stuff to throw him off his game, and they've had tensions at Reedy races and stuff like that. And I think Taz even said, I hate losing to this person or whatever. So there's, and then obviously after Silver State, there's even more rivalry. So Mayfield's upset. He puts his hands on Ty, which I don't look. I want to people, everybody that's crying about this is bad. And look, man, look, this is the risk. Like there's no physical risk in RC. I think you think it's not just the money. I think the money is a big thing of it, plus the other things. And then there's just personal history between these guys. And I think Mayfield has been a racer to wear his heart on his sleeve, and he just got fed up with the money on the line and all the other things on it. Like,
I don't think the money is worth nothing, but I don't think that's the sort of thing why Mayfield has yelled at people before.
Yes,
he fucking threw his radio on the ground at the driver's stand. So it's not like now he went and yelled at someone.
You know, he threatened to throat punch Barufalo, you know, all this type of stuff.
Like he's got mad before, and I think people focus on the money too much. Mayfield probably makes what, 150K a year. I wouldn't fucking give. I wouldn't give it. Well, if he wins the Worlds, then he definitely would make 150K this year. So I personally, if I made that much, I wouldn't give a shit if I lost whatever it was he lost.
So you just think this is just outright personal, man?
Oh, 100%.
Okay,
100%.
I can see that point too. I think Mayfield, but definitely high tense motion. Like Mayfield was extra aggressive, and like, so for everybody that's saying it's not a good look, a good look, there's actually some lessons to be learned in this right now. And this is, if my son watched this, my son's seeing way worse than this, by the way. You know, I have 2 kids and they've watched way worse than this. If you think this is bad, then you don't want your kids watching anything, because even football players like soccer, American football, basketball, baseball, you get whole benches cleared in baseball. You know, you got somebody throwing 100-mile-an-hour ball at you and hitting you, and then, you know, there's big fights like that because there's some physical danger. Now, should somebody put their hands on somebody? No. So here's the lessons that kids can learn from this. 1, there's consequences for actions. Tessmann ran up, and in your opinion, I still think it's 50-50, but I can see why Mayfield's angry. Ran Mayfield off the, you know, they got an accident. Mayfield's out of the race. He loses chance of winning this race, loses money, loses all this stuff. Yes, the consequences, he's angry. Like, that happens in real life. Like, if you do something to somebody, they get angry. You got to deal with it. I don't agree with him touching Ty, but that is like the least little bit of touching you can give somebody. Like, he didn't haul out and punch him or knock him out. He just pushed him a little bit. And Ty kind of, and he, you know, Ty isn't going to fight back. He isn't going to fight back. And I'm glad he didn't. But what we can learn is Ty de-escalated the problem. He kind of just sat there with that smile on his face. You know, he didn't say nothing. He didn't say anything. He de-escalated. He let Mayfield say what he had to say. And Mayfield went off. And then he said, and then what Ty had to say was good. I thought that he stood up for himself. I was happy to see that. He's like, he's done it before, and I done it to him. And now you're just like, we have a beautiful rivalry that has been born. But so I was happy about that. But oh no, there's more. There's more. So the internet's melting now. He needs to be fired, and he needs this. No. We want these guys to express their feelings, right? We want these guys to not be this PC robot vanilla. Everything's fine. Whitewash everything. RC is this great everybody wins sport. No, it's racing. It's emotional. Like, you know what I mean? It is emotional, and people get emotional about this. And this is something that happens. These guys are on a professional level. This is their livelihood. This is their living. This is what they do for a living. You have probably one of the most important world championships coming up in a long time. The pressure is on. The pressure is on. And if everybody says governing body, what governing body? There's no rules. This is not no governing body. This is nothing. So what I liked about this even more was I was like, I really hope that J Concepts, because let's be honest, we know that, you know, Rona has a big effect, or J Concepts is a big part of Ryan Mayfield's social media, all that stuff. So I was like, how are they going to handle this? I hope they don't try to sweep this under the carpet. I hope they embrace it and go at it. And dude, when Mayfield dropped that video yesterday, and he said, oh, there is a rivalry and it's on. I'll see you at Wicked Weekend. What goes around comes around. I nearly shat my pants. I was so excited. I think I messaged you and was like, did you see what Mayfield? Because what people don't understand, for me, this is what, like, all right, Mayfield should have never touched Ty. This is the limits. This is the limits of what I expect. Anything over this, like any type of punching, physical fighting, I'm not supporting that. But shouting, nerd fights like this, yeah, I'm all about this. I'm all about this.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that they allowed Mayfield to be Mayfield. He said he isn't sorry for what he done. He says, I'll see you later. I'll see you at the next race. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's what our hobby needed to bring excitement. Is it good? Is it good for kids to be shouting at people? No, of course not. You shouldn't be shouting at people. You have to learn how to de-escalate things. Ty did a good job of de-escalating this. He didn't get angry. He didn't provoke. He just smiled, which probably would have been enough at any case for someone.
Yeah, but let's be honest. You shouldn't teach your kid how to behave by watching an RC race.
No,
that's not Mayfield's job. Mayfield's job is to drive fast with an RC car.
I heard that they continued in the pits afterwards too, and Gord got it.
Yeah, that's one thing I thought about just then when we were talking about this. How did he continue? Because there's no way Mayfield didn't go down the pits and was like, Ty is such a fucking idiot or whatever. And
I wish they would have followed him. I would have.
Yeah, like I would like to see if there was a camera guy following them, because that would have been even more juicy, probably.
Right. Now, look, RC isn't this clean cut. Everybody's happy. Everybody wins sport. It's not. It's just like or hobby. It's got its pro guys. It's got this. Let these guys do. Like, we want these guys to express their emotions, but then we want to run them through or crucify them when they do. And yeah, Mayfield made a mistake putting his hands on Ty. But look, Rick Howard said something. He said something. Oh, what? It's not the money, it's the passion. I see C-Mainers do this. My answer to Rick Howard was, I still think I'm a little different. I still think the money was played a role in this. But the difference with the C-Mainer is the C-Mainer is a byproduct of the business model that the industry has adopted, that everybody can be the illusion that everybody can be a pro and everybody can get sponsored, and that C-Mainer wants to get to the B-Man so he can get a better sponsorship deal.
Yes, to a point, but that is a problem of the American dream in the big picture.
In RC, because you don't see this much in Europe. I will agree with that.
Yeah,
you don't see this
like
much.
I've seen at least 2 videos from America where a guy walks to another guy on driver's side and just fucking knocks them out.
Yes, I've seen that. That's not good.
I've never heard that happen in anywhere in Europe.
Well, because you guys also have an organizing. Like, I was talking to somebody at the BRCA. They said as soon as Mayfield put his hands on Tessmann, he would have been banned from all races. So there's no governing body. I don't want look, I am not calling for Mayfield to be banned. I don't think we should put hands on people, but
he definitely should allow. He definitely should get a reprimand of some kind.
Yes, there should be some reprimands for it. There should be something. I think his name I think people talking about him on social media is reprimanding, but there's no rules. There's no governing federation. There's nothing like that.
If there was a governing federation, he should get a reprimand, but there isn't. So,
but I'm glad they embraced it. Yeah, we have a rivalry, but there's something else that I noticed that maybe we have to touch on real quick before we wrap up here, that maybe others haven't noticed. I'm not saying that money races should be the norm. I'm not saying that we should have confrontations with drivers like this all the time. I'm not saying we should be creating drama and that we need fights. I'm saying that we should let these guys be themselves, let them express themselves. It will make the industry so much better if they can, and don't crucify them when they do. Yes, Mayfield made a mistake touching him, but at least he doesn't say he's sorry, and he's upset, and we have a great storyline going in, and I'm glad we embraced it. And Wicked Weekend is going to be even more exciting because of this.
Yeah, that's definitely the sort of takeaway, in my opinion. Also, like, yeah, he like now this is a big deal, but when Wicked Weekend comes, people will forget about sort of the nitpicking about this, but they will remember the rivalry. They will remember sort of
Exactly.
these guys are battling each other and all that. And yeah, oh, like I kind of forgot my point, but overall, like I think what this was positive for RC, even though it probably doesn't look that way. But overall, I think like
Yeah, I think it was.
rivalries, controversy, and this is good for us.
Yeah, it stopped whitewashing and sweeping things under the carpet and embracing it.
Yeah.
Also, something I know we wanted to wrap this up, but we do have a few more things to talk about, Max. JC versus Hot Race. I think that's starting to brew a rivalry there. Hot Race is dominating in Europe. I mean, Nicola just had 5 people in the top 5 at the Euros. If you look at this podium, there's not a JC guy on the podium. When was the last time you seen an American podium? And they have 5 guys. It wasn't 3, it was 5. And you haven't seen a JC guy on there. Hot Race is making waves in America right now. I think that, yeah, like if I was J Concepts, I'd be a little bit worried about Hot Race right now.
Yeah.
What they're doing.
The only sort of saving grace for JC is that every single race time event is like that's the race where you always need to run JC, and race time has the most events. So that is sort of, they don't really need to do anything and they'll be there because everyone will have to run their tires because that's the only tire that works at most race time events. So I think that
do you think there's some smoke there? Do you think there's some inner rivalry coming there? Do you think JC has to be a little bit worried about Hot Race right now?
On the West Coast,
leading into the Worlds.
Worlds, 100%. I think coming into the Worlds, like Hot Race has such a big, like it's probably going to be Sismic versus Hot Race at the Worlds. I don't think even American brand has a shot at it. It's funny because not that in Mayfield's not going to have a shot at winning, but sort of
not even AKAs. You don't think AKAs is going to be good?
Okay, yeah, AK is going to be good because AK will be good, but like Proline and JC, they will definitely struggle as a tire brand. Like, I'm not saying Mayfield's counted out because of JC. No, that's never gonna happen. But it won't be a situation where a random person will walk up and be like, "Oh, I want a JC tire," like they would at PNB. You know, they would be, "Oh, I want a Hot Race." Oh, you don't have Hot Race, maybe Sismic, and then after that, maybe go to AKA and then go to JC. But like going into the Worlds, like the European tire brands have quite a big of an advantage. I think not because of it's a European track, but because of how the European tire brands have developed in the past 2 years. If you go into DNC, I'd say Hot Race and JC were pretty much matched.
I would agree with you there. All right, Max, you know what? We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back. We're going to wrap up this. I want to talk about some things that I would like to see improved for next year. And then we'll wrap it up, all right?
Yeah, man.
GP loves Great Britain. So much so, on August the 5th, 2022, we're coming home for some British hijinks and all-out Nitro buggy racing action.
Yeah, I just bought my ticket for RCGP UK. I'll be headed there. I hope we get some more RC2 drivers coming out there. I'm looking forward to going to my first. This is my first 8-scale type of race in the UK, so I'm super excited about that. Thank you for RCGP for all their support. Also, this podcast is brought to you by Lugs Racing Tires. They have over 55 years of combined RC experience. Lugs have been testing treads, wheels, and rubber for performance. They have their Lugs Eco line, which is developed with racing budgets in mind. High quality but lower cost means savings that can be passed on to you, the racer. Also, their premium line, the Lugs Racing Tires, is built for provide pure performance using their custom molds, proprietary rubber compound. Tires are available in medium soft, super soft, mega soft, and long wear. You can get them at www.lugsracing.com. You can save up to 25% of your order by using the promo code in all caps NNRC Lugs. All right, Max. So I really enjoyed this event. I thought even you and I agreed, like most of the our we thought it was positive. It's a great step for RC. Super pumped to see this, and we know that it's gonna get better next year. So in this section, I just want to wrap it up real quick, and some of the things that I would like to see if I was in a debriefing with these guys that I would like to see next year, and who I would bring in to help do this. So I don't know if you read my notes. So basically, one of my biggest things was I wanted spectators hurt. So in my brain, I was thinking Manufacturers Cup 2008. If anybody's seen that, it's got spectators. It's great. If you want to learn more about that, myself and Ryan McCreary, who's also the guy from Top 25, we did a whole podcast and we talked about that because he was a part of that. It was a great event. We haven't seen anything like that since then. So at this event, I know that Live RC was promising to be a lot of spectators, but I also understand that the people that are attending this event are also people that bring their side-by-sides or their motocross bikes or whatever, their full-scale vehicles to enjoy this. So during the day, they are doing that, as well as also whatever night activities, because there's a lot of drinking and stuff. Like, it's a big party from what I was told. So I think at RC races, we're so used to the RC race being the main attraction for everybody. So what I think has to happen here, and what I got from this was, it just needs to be promoted and grab the attention of the people within the event. So it needs a little bit more showmanship. I think having more entries with that would help with that. When I mean showmanship, I'll explain. It's not, and I don't want Brandon Road, I don't want anybody to get upset at what I'm saying. This isn't criticism, it's just what I like to see. And I know you need people to do this. It definitely needs more. Why it needs more interest? Because then it looks bigger. People will see a bunch of people over there. People are attracted to that, and then they go. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what's going on over here? We got to go. And then you have much more RC racers around, they're milling around, they're getting the word out, and all that type of stuff. When I mean by showmanship, like, it has to be a spectacular, like a festival. And I thought, because this was like a lot of collaboration between different people. Yeah, Jimmy Babcock, Scotty Ernst, Joey, Live RC, Jacob Peterson from Race Time came in, and they brought some other guys in as well from other parts. I would bring in Dave Lycom, because I think that Dave's Lycom attention to those details, such as like a jumbotron and the pyrotechnics and all that type of stuff, is something that's needed at this race to get spectators in. I also think that Dave would make a great MC for the spectators, because if you look at let's take his rocket car jump that he does at PNB. It's great. He does a good job of that. It's attractive. That might be an idea to get people attracted to this race. I thought that if it's possible, plan a night race. You know what I mean? Because that's when people aren't out in the trails. That's when they're kind of relaxed, they're enjoying. So you need to plan a race format. I think like Rush would have been great. Like, do it professional. Like, basically do what we do with Rush, but for spectators. So get an hour. See if you can get an hour slot where you get these spectators there. Promote within the event to get people there, so they can watch this. It would, and the reason I say evening time, because everybody's kind of winding on or just getting started. Cater that to people, you know what I mean? So like, have these drivers dressed up professionally, all this type of stuff. Introduce them, trucker drivers, just make it a show for the people there. I think Dave is really good with that and whatnot. I don't know what. Look, I'm just saying what I would like to see. I don't know what they can and cannot do. It's probably a lot of things they can and cannot do. And it's probably a lot of things they need people to do that. Social media, I thought they did a good job on social media, but I would bring in Hannah from Hardison from JC, because I think she does a really good job with social media. And this type of stuff needs to be hitting, like there's shorts and there's reels and there's TikToks and all that type of stuff. For me as a content creator, I'm realizing how important those little short 60 to 90-second shorts are. You know what I mean? I mean, look at the short from the incident, how much views it's got. She's really, really good at that. She's really good, and she can take pictures, so she can be out there taking pictures with Jacob. So that's who I would bring in. The professionals need to look better. Teams, so if I was to, I don't want to include RCGP in this, but if I was to take one thing from RCGP, it would be that professional side that RCGP brings. I always wondered why, you had the pro guys separated. So what I would like to see, if possible, is the teams that send drivers up there, they need to have these pro guys, like the 2 guys or the 1 guy, have the team tents, that type of stuff. Have these guys have uniforms on. Have that, maybe, I don't know, because I saw like where other superstars of other full-scale events were doing autograph sessions. We're not catering to RC people. We're catering to people that don't know anything about RC. So my thing is, we make it look big and people will take it big. So if you go to a regular RC race, you don't know who these professionals are. Make these guys wear a bit of a uniform. Have some organization. Posters with, I don't know, I saw Spencer Rifkin had like a little card or something it looked like.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was signing that.
I think everyone had one of those they made for everyone.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, but I'm not sure.
That's great. But maybe, just make it a little bigger, but it's gotta, we have these professional drivers. Let's put it on these manufacturers. Like, wear a uniform. Like, believe it or not, JQ Racing actually had a uniform. You had to wear black pants with your shirt and black shoes. You know what I mean? It was black or whatever. So I just think little things like that, and these like, have autograph signings, have these. So we want to get kids, we want to get people involved. These are people that have disposable income. So we have to figure out a way to get the people that are inside of this event watching this event. Now, I can't tell if there were a lot of people watching this event, but from the outside looking in, from the viewer point of view, it didn't look like it. And that's what I want to see. The spectators brings a whole nother atmosphere to this as well. And that's like immediate exposure. Like, there's people leave that event thinking, wow, I want to get into this. So these are just my little things that I think need to be worked on, and probably bring in team members to make that happen. Because it takes people to make that happen, and putting people in their proper skill set to make things happen. That's one thing I've learned from RCGP. Everybody works as a team together, and these guys will do the same thing once they get going. And I am super excited for the following year if this happens, and how big this can be and how great this can be for our hobby, our industry. I saw I read Jared Tiba's race report, how he took his family there and they enjoyed it. So, I saw a guy that didn't enjoy it. You know what I mean? But it's all about perspective. I think I know it's kind of expensive to get there. It's hard to get there. That a lot of the factors played into the low entry count this week. But as we see, it doesn't have to be a big entry race to be good. It was still a good race. It was still a great exhibition for our industry. And my hats go off to Brandon Ruddy and all those guys, because they got it done. And I hope that they take the positives and the negatives of this, because it was low interest, but that's nothing. It doesn't mean nothing. All this type of stuff. They didn't get the spectators probably that they wanted as much as they wanted. So I hope that they take these. I hope they're putting their thinking caps on. They have a whole year to plan how to do this. Exactly. And I have to give I think this is a great step for RC, because we're going to get an hour program of introduction of what we do to people. You know what I mean? More than anything. RCGP is geeking out, like us geeking out on RC driven, we're all deep into it, that type of stuff. This is a great way to introduce the average person to RC, with the commentating, with the coverage being at this event. I hope next year we get the spectators and we get to put on more of a show. And I hope this leads to more manufacturers supporting this, sending their equipment there and making this. Because just imagine, like, if this was looked like DNC with all, not as big as DNC, but with all the manufacturers' tents set up, and you can tell who was a pro and who wasn't, and all this type of stuff. And you come and you see, wow, like this is I didn't know this even happened, because that's what the average person that sees this track, that sees this on the internet, that sees this on MavTV are going to think, I didn't even know this happened. So that's my final conclusion on it. I know that was long, but that's kind of how I feel about it. I have nothing but positive things to say about this. I think it was a great step forward. It's good. Look, I'm about progressing RC by any means necessary. I don't care who does it, so long as it's being done. You know what I mean? So kudos to those guys. They got it done. They got it at a big event. They got it. They done good coverage. They got it on TV. They're gonna get it on TV. So congratulations to Brandon Roddy, Live RC, everybody involved. I thoroughly enjoyed the event. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a pretty good spiel. I don't even think I have anything to say here. You did pretty good.
Yeah, I don't want people to think that I'm being critical of anything. I'm thinking that this is my brain thinking how I would like to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly sort of how it should be. Now it shouldn't be like, now we're like, okay, we had that big money race and now we can stop and RC is great. Fuck no.
No,
the world doesn't work that way. Now we focus on next year, or well, they focus on next year, and yeah, you have these ideas. I 100% agree with everything you said. Dave is great at what he does, and he's inside RC. Why not utilize him for this event? Why wouldn't he want to be there to support? Joey made the track.
Yeah,
Joey can make the track and have the dirt crew and all that. Why not the whole industry next year? TLR, make it there. Make sure you're there. All the other guys who now said, okay, we want to do ENATs. Okay, I can almost accept that. Well, I can accept that. But next year, be sure to save that date. Be sure to be there, and everyone like have the team shirts, like you said. Everything you said is spot on. That's what needs to happen next year. Make it look more professional. Make it look more better organized. Have everyone be there. Make it the biggest event next year in America for RC.
Yeah, I love it.
Not in terms of entries, but in terms of how it looks.
Yeah. I think that's next, and I'm just happy. This was a positive step, and even the thing, like, people don't realize the embracing of the drama was a positive step, because we've been so used to this sweeping it under the carpet, whitewashed media that we've had for the last 10 years of RC. So I look forward to this event. I hope I can make it to this event next year. That's how I feel. And congratulations to those guys. Congratulations to Wiggins, man. Wiggins fucking went home with $6,500. Congratulations to Tekno.
Yeah, I think people are sort of sleeping, like, because of this Mayfield-Tessmann drama. I think people are sleeping on the fact that Wiggins just fucking straight up beat Ogden, Mayfield, Tessmann, Lutz, all of these guys. Straight up beat. No ifs, ands, or buts. Straight up beat.
Yes. And great weekend. Great. It's been a great couple of months of RC, man. Fucking, I'm so like, every weekend I think I'm gonna have a chill. And then Matt messages me like Saturday morning, or so, are you coming on the show today? I was like, well, I weren't sure if you were winning me on. I'll be there. And man, it's just good to see. And I am super excited for the fucking Worlds. That's all I know. Like, every little RC midichlorian that I have, midichlorian's a Jedi term, by the way, is just going berserk. Like, I'm so excited. I need to be at the Worlds. I need to figure out a way to get there. But once again, congratulations to Live RC and everybody involved. I'm very happy at what happened this weekend. Very happy, very happy, very happy. Super. It's awesome. It's a very good step forward. We need to build on it. We need to build on it. Now the hard work starts. So Let's get cracking. Max, thank you for your time. Thank you for answering the questions. We will be doing our big 200th show this Thursday at 4 p.m. EST. We're going to be giving away a lot of TZO tires, so everybody pay attention. I don't know if Max is going to be involved. He might still be on holiday. He might just have an avatar, but he might be involved.
I'll step in for a bit. Probably no video because it's gonna be bad lighting. But
But we're gonna have fun.
Step in.
We're gonna have fun. We're gonna give away a lot of tires. We're gonna answer a lot of questions, and we're gonna celebrate 200 episodes of the No Name RC podcast. And we want everybody to be there because we couldn't have done this without you guys. So with that said, we're gonna let everybody go. Enjoy your Monday. We recorded this on Monday. This is probably gonna be released Tuesday by the time I'm looking at it. Thank you everybody for the continued support. We can't do it without you guys. We greatly appreciate it. Shout out to all the hashtag NNRC squad around the world. We greatly appreciate your support. Continue to hit that like button, that sub button. We're leaving reviews, bad or good, comments, all that. We need to get the algorithm. NNRC needs to start going viral again. Also, if you haven't done it, please go hit us up on the new Instagram because I had to make a new Instagram. Yeah, we need to get that back, get cracking again as well. So please, if you could go follow the new Instagram, it's in the written description. Thank you. Thank you to all the patrons of the podcast. I can't do it without you guys. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Also, thank you to these awesome companies. Remember, showing the sponsors some love, shows the podcast some love. Invisible Speed, TZO 200 Tires, High Tech RC, TNR Fuels, Mayako, Beach RC, Tekno RC, Lugs Racing Tires, G-Spec RC Tuning, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, Sampadal USA, Racecraft USA, Clinic RC, RCGP, House of RC, the DR Race Shop, JTP RC. Thank you, Max, for your time. Go get some sleep. I greatly appreciate it. You all have a great weekend. We hope you enjoyed this podcast. And once again, congratulations to Brenda Road, Live RC, and everybody involved. The Vision Race was great. We enjoyed it. Thank you. RC is awesome. It's for everybody. Max, we can't see you salute, but have a good one.
I'm doing it. Trust me.
All right, everybody. Talk to you guys later.